ABC Sport.
AFL. On ABC Sport, you're listening to the 2026 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio,
Sport Digital
and ABC Listen.
Great to have you with us on ABC Sport for the conclusion of your Saturday blockbuster fixture. It is Adelaide and Richmond here in South Australia. Big night for the Crows, given the results we've had over the past 48 hours with Brisbane winners over the Hawks and the Demons getting over the top of the Dockers in an absolute epic earlier today by 4 points. Means that Adelaide has dropped from 4th to 6th. That race for the final spot in the double chance is looking very tight, and Adelaide would not want to drop this one against a side who has been a thorn in their side over the last couple of years in Richmond. They're fresh off a win over the West Coast Eagles. The Tigers wearing that nice 2017 crash strip tonight as well, just to really rattle the locals. And around that, they get to welcome back Judson Clark, who's had consecutive ACLs. He's been out for 867 days and gets to play alongside his teammates for the first time in a couple of campaigns. No late changes here. The text line tonight is 0437 774 774. Aaron Bryans with you alongside Tom Wilson, your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell. We are minutes away from the game getting underway here, and it is very cold in South Australia tonight. We've got a big storm coming that's going to last a week, expected to hit around second half, see if it plays a factor. But it's ominous for what is a pretty lively crowd tonight, Loz.
Yeah, the Crows fans pack it out every time, don't they? Like, well played. I don't know how you're sitting here with a T-shirt on, Aaron.
Well, the window's going to open shortly, Loz.
Ask me in 5 minutes.
Brave areas.
Yeah, it's Alistair Clarkson in Canberra areas.
He'll shrink into his pants like an 85-year-old.
Are we supposed to fall in line and do the same because we're all tough?
Exactly.
Someone at the Adelaide Oval had been cranking the AC this year, and it's been so hot that I feel like T-shirt weather's perfect for it, but once that window opens, it's a game changer. So we'll find out in a moment. Adelaide and Richmond tonight on ABC Sport. If you're just joining us, we've been unpacking the Tigers situation, where they currently sit with Adam Uze's record of 11 and 56 to start his coaching career, which is the worst in the AFL era. But the Tigers right now trying to avoid will have more than 10 wins in a 3-year run, which will be the worst in their entire history as a club. They've got a couple of more games to try and accomplish that tonight against the Crows, and then St Kilda and Geelong to come in the next fortnight. Nathan Broad's penultimate game's a big one for them as well. He's 190th tonight. He's going to retire next week against the Saints, the triple premiership player. And for the Crows, Riley O'Brien's in tonight for his second game. They welcome back Sam Berry, James Peatling and Rory Laird. A couple of stars managed as they were last week against the Bombers, as they build up to what is going to be their third game in 12 days when they face Fremantle on Friday night. That is going to be an absolute blockbuster at Perth Stadium. Had an early text in from Simon in the York Peninsula, who's wondering if the wind's going to be a factor tonight. Might be a nice way to welcome in Josh Money downstairs. He's going to brave the conditions tonight. He's got the umbrella ready to rock and roll. Josh, what is it like down there at ground level right now?
Well, right now it's very much the calm before the storm, Aaron. You wouldn't know what's about to come, but looking at the radar, it's certainly very ominous viewing indeed. Just watching the coin toss take place in front of us now, and I believe Jordan Dawson has won the toss, and the Crows will kick towards the northern end of the ground in this first quarter rather. The breeze is quite swirly at the moment. It will play a factor, but as we've touched on, the radar is not looking very good, and we're expecting 5 or 6 mils of rain to hit us in the maybe hopefully the second half, but I dare say it may come even sooner than that. Just watching the Crows warm up, certainly looking very small down back, aren't they, with those injuries to Borlase, Butts and Murray, so that will be interesting tonight to see how they size up with the Richmond forwards. Looking at the benches as well to start the second game, as both Archie Ludwig and Oscar Ryan will start there for the Crows. Keys, Dowling and Berry as well. Judson Clark, we've touched on him. The feel-good story starts on the pine for the Tigers as well, alongside Grill, Short, Green and Ryan. Wish me luck, guys. It's okay right now, but I hold grave fears for a few minutes' time.
We're thinking of you, Josh, downstairs, and for all the home crowd that are in tonight. Hill is packed once again, should be at least towards 40,000 tonight as we wrap up your Saturday fixture on ABC Sport. Loz, Jamo, what are we thinking tonight? Margin, imagine you're both tipping the Crows.
Oh, I think if the Crows win by any less than 5 goals, something's gone wrong. For me, it's an absolute whitewash coming for the Crows as they build towards a final series.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the way that Richmond are trying to play, all power to them, but Adelaide's midfield, too strong, firepower up forward, and the way they carry the football from one end of the ground to the other. Richmond turned the football over too much.
They did well against the Bombers last week. It's freshen up towards September, and the race for a top 4 spot is getting tight. Matthew Nick said, our destiny's in our hands. Let's see if they cash in tonight and get some percentage against the Tigers. You're with Tom Wilson on ABC Sport.
Big Riley O'Brien down to Dan Curtin, socket off the deck by Jordan Dawson, up towards centre half forward. Ball in dispute. Taranto goes in hard, did well, gets the ball away to Banks, back to Broad. In his second last game, kicks towards the wing. And a contest out there between Hugo Hall-Khan and Hugo Ralph-Smith goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
We mentioned earlier the experience Dan Curtin had playing inside and got the centre ball up now just to start the game, but he's popped out to a wing for James Peatling. Peatling's gone inside now, Curtin back to a wing.
It was Lauren Arnell on ABC Sport, tossed in Nankervis down, then takes it out of the ruck on the bounce as it ricochets off a few bodies. Clear and kick comes forward from Rechko, up to the right half forward and well cut off by Cumming. Adelaide getting back in front of the Wanganeen stands. Their 6-year free agent from the Giants.
Interesting, that one, Jamo, isn't it? Like sending it inside, just a pure ball up and then out to a wing.
Yeah, big body, I think, isn't it?
Back up to the eastern side, and Riley O'Brien gets a huge cheer from the home crowd. His kick was a little high drop, classic Ruckman style, looking for Thilthorpe, put it down. Should have taken it out in front, hit the deck, tackle late, or get a ball up. He's usually so maligned amongst the Crows faithful, Rob, but back in tonight and they're showing some love to the big man.
It was a good start. He kicked it where he wanted to go.
O'Brien knocks it down, gathered by Lawler, out to Rechko, gets another possession but smothered out on the wing. Great to hear, getting him behind Big Rob.
It's a bit rough, Jamo.
They should just handle.
Josh Money on the boundary.
Right.
Well, all the cheers around me were actually just saying a handball. That's
Jamo in your ear as well. Boundary throw in. Jack Ross rows it for Richmond. Kicks the ball long down the line to a contest. Flying over the top there was Big Tom Lynch. Knocked it forward, though, towards Lafau. Worrell did well on his hands and knees. Up towards Michaelani to Hall-Khan. Hits the target in Rob, and he's got another touch on the centre wing.
Oh, they're loving it at the Adelaide Oval.
Oh, he's going to be the leading disposal getter for the Crows.
O'Brien up to left half forward. Skies one. Hillthorpe cops a little nudge. Flostone from behind and off hands. Taylor will have scored it over in front of the Rashudo stand. Bit of fun early here at the Adelaide Oval from the home crowd. No score so far in the opening couple of minutes on ABC Sport. If you just joined us as well, some worrying scenes at the SCG with Jason Horne-Francis coming off clutching his left knee. We'll give you an update across the night if we hear any news. Tossed in, Nankervis down. The tap inside 50 for the Crows. Richmond do win out though. So Lawler gets it out towards Taranto. Shoots the handball wide to Rechko over the top. Coming through, Ralph Smith loops it to Lafau. Richmond on the charge here, turning with a bit of speed. Up to right half forward. The kick's wide and low of Lynch. Tumbles past him. Picked up by Keane, and he's very composed as he pops it short and finds Neil Bullen in defensive 50.
Well, I think that's an example there of the turnover. To Lafau's kick, Lynch had made all the effort and had 15 metres on Worrell, and he couldn't hit a target.
So a free kick paid out of the contest by the umpire. It's too high on Jack Ross. He's got it at right half forward for Richmond, who've controlling the footy a bit here. 13 touches to 9 in the opening foray. Still no team to score. So he sends it back inside the forward 50. Riley O'Brien is floating back, but a big grab there from Taj Houghton. Flying over the top and marks on his chest.
I've been looking forward to watching Taj Houghton play, and just watching the lead up to that, he had a lot of space and time to run and jump at the footy. I'm sure the Crows would like their time again with that matchup.
Riley O'Brien getting back, doing the right thing, sitting under the football, but Taj Houghton used him as a stepladder.
He did. 8th game of the season. Taj Houghton.
It's very quiet, isn't it?
They need Riley O'Brien with the footy, Jamo. But here's an opportunity for Richmond. And Houghton comes in from 35 metres out. And he's popped it through. Made the goal umpire move to his left. They're going to check it.
He's not happy.
So a natural reaction spotted there by Lauren Arnell. And so going to the arc.
No, I think it's hit the post. It's hit the right-hand goal post.
So confirmation there, a minor score, almost snuck it through. The goal umpire wasn't sure initially, but the review was clear. So a minor score. Richmond hit the board first almost 5 minutes into this opening term.
Portage has 1 goal in the 7 games. He's come back from his bone stress hip issue and didn't get one there. Adelaide, G on the counterpunch, just so slick. Archie gives it to Peatling up to half forward. Thilthorpe cops the spoil. Curtin on the bounce trying to juggle it. Knocked it towards Peatling. Neil Bullen throws it on the boot towards the 50. Rochelle caught behind Vlostone. Buffets him away from the drop. Rochelle gathers, spins away from Nankervis and unselfishly kicks across the goal face. It's going to come back anyway. Umpire has eventually blown the whistle for the original shove on Vlostone and a free kick to Richmond in defensive 50.
It was well positioned by Nick Vlostone, and what he does so well off the ball is put himself very, very, very much front shoulder, and Rochelle's now given away a 50-metre penalty by the looks of it.
Yeah, spraying the umpire. Wasn't happy with the decision. Did probably come a few seconds too late, but on the replay, you can see 2 hands in the back. So it's been marched up to the centre of the ground, the veteran. Goes short to Nankervis.
That's where Riley O'Brien gets a bit caught out. He goes for that long kick behind the play. Nankervis a bit smarter.
So Nankervis handballed it off to Banks. His kick was smothered by Rankin. If they're clean enough here, the Crows, they'll get an opportunity. Neil Bullen to Thilthorpe on the wing. Running hard is Curtin. Short to Rochelle, the man that gave away the 50. He's at right half forward. Tigers have done well here to get back. Flood their D50. So he lowers the eyes, looks for Tex, and he hits him. Gets the Dukes out, marks 35 out in a tough angle to the right.
Isaac Rankin's first couple of touches on the footy have been elite. He had a spearing kick from D50 to start the previous scoring chain. And then that little one there, hands in, spoil off the mark. He looks like he's ready to go tonight, and he's created this opportunity for Taylor Walker.
It's the unfortunate thing the other end are highlighted too with Lafau. Just missed Tom Lynch's body. Otherwise, he'd be having a shot on goal in a similar spot. Taylor Walker, beautiful kick.
Strolls in, we're right behind him, a lovely drop punt, but it just drifted right late, so another minus score. So scores a level here at Adelaide Oval, 1 behind a piece, 7 minutes gone in the first term.
Classic drive that you think straight and then fades very late and ends up on the other hole.
Hey, too far forward.
Behind a piece in the early stages, Tom Brown plays on, dumps it straight up the spot. He's looking for Lynch, who went all the way to the centre circle. Plenty of meterage, but Mark Keane outmatches him, gets the intercept, hands it off to Curtin, up to right half forward. Thilthorpe, Walker couldn't control it against Anand. Knocked down to Prestia. Richmond now get a crack. Up to the broadcast wing. Mark taken out wide by Campbell, loops it over the top. Steely Green on return from concussion. Best name in footy. Just behind left half forward, not overly confident with what's ahead. Adelaide is zoned off. Green will now send it low and central in, about 30 out on the drop. Lynch was the target. Fist came in, knocked straight out wide, and coming through. The tackle's laid on Houghton. Caught holding the ball, free kick. Adelaide behind a piece, 7 played, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
How good was Houghton on that occasion, just to be in the right spot.
It's a good tackle from Oscar Ryan. Crows bring it out of defence through Rankin up towards Archie. Pushed out of the contest by Vloston. Diving on top of the footy there is Short. Fakes the handball while he's lying on his back. That was clever to Prestia. Now they go to Green. He's working out what he wants to do on the logo. Kicks a tough ball to a teammate in Ralph Smith, who's taken high in the middle of the ground by Michael Annie. So, got enough of the footy here, the Tigers. Kicks inside now, looking for Lafau, the target. Punched down by Worrell, rove by Cumming. Back towards Cook. Back towards Keane. On the last line of defence is Jordan Dawson in front of the scoreboard. Tries to hit Rochelle. Couldn't get it. Off the bounce on the half volley. Working hard in there was Zach Taylor. Handball towards Cook, who's happy to see this go out over the boundary. Right half forward for Richmond. Let's get down to Josh Money on the boundary.
Yeah, Tom, some news from the SCG while I'm down here. I've just spoken to someone at Port Adelaide who said initial tests for Jason Horne-Francis all look really positive, and the thought at this stage is it's just a bit of a hyper extension rather than anything too serious, which is great news for him in his 100th game.
Toby Nankervis, 3 disposals, 1 metre gain.
Tossed in, O'Brien down to Berry, draws 2 and shoots the handball central, but it was a hot one to Cumming. He fumbled, Richmond pounce, they win the footy. Houghton links up with Ralph Smith, sends his chip kick out towards Lafau, again a little wide. The Kiwi forward just goes low, trying to gather at his bootlaces. Steely Green barrels in, the ball bobbles out, picked up by Curtin for the Crows. He hands it out wide to Hawker Hahn, and he launches it out of there with a hit and hope. Rochelle gets a fist in on Brown, knocked it to Thilthorpe and gets it back. Now Adelaide's on the run here, and in the paddock now for Archie, who can gather it right half forward, take 2 bounces, empty goal square, he'll go for home, It's curling left lane and rolls through for a minor score. It's Adelaide by a point, 2-1 after 9 minutes on ABC Sport.
It's been largely inaccurate, but it looks like Richmond defenders are getting sucked up high, and that's twice now the Crows have gone on what we term as a basketball fast break, but just not maximised it.
Presti at right half back. Oh, he puts Miller under pressure. A great job to take the one-handed mark. Tapped it to himself. Goes short. Oh, poor kick towards short. Archie, the man who just missed there, was tackled holding the footy. So whether he had enough of it, you could argue that he was pulled off the ball, but in the end the umpire deemed incorrect disposal at right half back. Free kick won by Short. Must have played on by the umpire with that long right boot, and Lynch just shoves Keane out the way and takes the mark.
It's a great leg, Jaden Short.
Handballs away to Ralph Smith on the run. Back inside that forward 50. Gets out the back curtains there for the Crows. Did well to get it onto his left foot. Clearing kick. One-on-one contest that favoured Lynch, but Keys got the rove out the back. Dribble kick forward up towards Thilthorpe, and Keys goes the 1-2.
He's running out of room, so he tumbles the kick, threading the needle, but no one's ahead of the ball. Short will get back for Richmond. Handed it off. Prestia tried to move it forward and handed it straight to Jordan Dawson. The ricochet works for the Crows. Archie's set upon, but gets it out. Keys kicks central, and Walker takes the mark. Just the required 15. 30 from home, slightly to the left.
Nice read by Kalarchi, and some clever play from Ben Keys up the ground as well, just to keep the ball moving when it didn't look like much was on forward. And again, what we spoke about in the pre-game, Keys adding that ability to find a mark inside 50, and the Richmond tall defenders just caught napping a little bit there. Kyle Anand against Taylor Walker is an unfair matchup from what it seems at the beginning of this game. 9th game for the mid-season draftee. He's played every single one since he debuted, but yeah, he's got to play the all-time leading goal kicker at the Crows. Taylor Walker crosses the paint of 50. Kick looks good. Adelaide gets the first goal of the game at the 12-minute mark. 1-2-8. Plays one behind here at the Adelaide Oval for Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. On the text line, Eugene says, we've had steady rain in Port Augusta and it's coming to you very shortly, so we'll wait to see it, but the radar's looking a little worrying. Lauren Arnell, Rod Jamison, your experts on ABC Sport.
Just Jordan Dawson once again involved in that passage of play. 190 centimetres experience, just fends off and puts it out in front of Cal Archie, and you've just got to be able to grab those arms, but Archie was able to get it above the tackle, keeping the footy alive, almost Richmond style like, you know, that 17, 19, 20 era where they were so successful, just keeping the footy alive and keeping your defence under pressure.
So a long stint in the ruck here for Riley O'Brien, 13 minutes. Samson Ryan in there for the Tigers. Dan Curtin, that was a lead. He just burst through the midfield. Clearing ball inside 50, flying is Thilthorpe. Just went underneath it, and Vlosten gets it out over the boundary line. Keeps it in, actually. Did well. Got the handball away. Kicked long towards the wing. Read best by Oscar Ryan in his second game. It looked good last week. Hit the scoreboard as well. So there will be selection squeeze on late in the season for those halfbacks. Goes back inside the forward 50. And Vlosten again takes in a set mark.
Just already, I'd like to see Adelaide go shorter than that at the moment. Thilthorpe deep, Walker deep, but Richmond are renowned for having that extra come up and defend, so you're outnumbered.
Glostone to Miller, then Short, drives it up to the broadcast wing. Adelaide again has a wall set up and cuts it off. Peatling with the fend off as he barges past. Ralph Smith hands it off towards Laird, skies it up towards the 50. Couple of bodies there, hits the deck, front and square of Shelley, got it to Rankin. Smooth move as he gives it to Taylor, then Berry from 50 heads for home, and it curls wide right and had enough carry to go all the way over. Ludovic was waiting in the goal square, but just had a bit too much turn on it. Free kick Richmond left back pocket. It's the Crows by 7 after 14 minutes at the Adelaide Oval.
Didn't like that entry, Lauren.
Giving away all my body language while we're on radio time. No, I thought Sam Berry rushed himself. It was Berry, wasn't it? Yeah, he rushed himself. He didn't need to.
So Jack Ross goes up towards centre wing. Taylor Walker's playing behind the ball for a moment there. Fists it forward. Quick kick, though, from Judson Clark. Over the top to Houghton, who put the 360 on Keane. Looks for Lafau and hits him. That was brilliant. Marks 25 out, slight angle to the left.
Taj Houghton. He's been in all of it, hasn't he, really, when they've gone forward? Very classy.
Serious player. How do you do a little 360 pirouette with pressure and deliver a ball like that down the foul's throat as he ticks out the back? That's wild skill.
The Irish defender's normally a bit better than that too. He got a bit lost.
It's very fleet-footed. Houghton sets up Lafau. Can they get the response? And McKelty pops it straight through it. He looks straight for Houghton to say thanks very much for delivering it on a platter. Richmond 1-1-7, Adelaide 1-2-8 halfway through this first term.
Is it cheeky if I say that in the broadcast box area we can see everyone, right? So we can see the TV broadcast crew, we can see everyone on radio, and I may have just seen a heavy fist pump from Jack Revolt next door. That was good footy.
The Taj one is genuinely exciting, though. Yeah. This is his 15th game tonight. He had his ACL in his draft year, and you're thinking, gee, why are you picking a guy so early who's fresh off a knee as pick 12 in that draft year in 2024, and then has the bone stress fracture in his hip and just hasn't played a lot of footy, and he does something like that, and you go, yeah, the potential's there.
It's so fun to watch. The move was like what we've seen from Willem Dersma this year. Really clean by foot.
Was it Lauren Arnell alongside Rod Jamieson? It's the Crows by a point on ABC Sport. Tossed up. Samson Ryan beats Riley Thilthorpe in the ruck tap, but missed his boot on the ball drop. Berry jumps onto it. Skies a ball up to the attacking edge for Adelaide. Trying to bring it down was Dowling. He was in front position, but ripped away from him. Brought to ground by Ross. We'll get a ball up. Broadcast side. The Tigers up for the fight early. Adelaide need to win this one to stay in the fight for top four. Tap down Ross. Shoots the handball out. Little fumble, but a regather there by Sonsi, who heads out to the eastern side. It's a tumbling kick. Worked well, though. Picked up by Rechko. Gets right underneath the footy. Belly of the ball stuff up to right half forward. But still too shallow in the end for Lynch, who was marching out of the 50. And over last disposal free kick to Adelaide at the Wanganeen stand. They're up by a point in the early stages.
Poor old Tommy Lynch. He does the work, gets himself into a lot of good spots, and then he just hopes it lands somewhere close.
He's been missed a few times tonight, hasn't he? He's worked hard. So Keane with the footy.
And to be fair, he probably a little wayward in front of goal too at times.
At times, that's for sure. Certainly against Carlton earlier this year. So Cumming brings it out of defence, finds fellow Isaac in Rankin on centre wing. Plays on quickly, looking for Ludovic, who flies. Brought to ground by Broad, dives on top of it. It's going to be a late whistle here. I think it was off the ball, going the way of Zach Taylor. Right half forward. A few players running past, but he's just going to send it in long himself towards Taylor Walker. He's going to have a fly, but it was Riley Thilthorpe more at the back who got two hands to it. Clever there from Neil Bullen trying to keep it in, but it will be taken over in the end by Ludovic, and we'll have a throw in near the right behind post. Adelaide lead it by a point. 18 gone in this first term at Adelaide Oval.
Riley Thilthorpe 10 marks last week. I think he's had 3 goes at it tonight. He's got his hands to it and hasn't been able to clunk.
Picked up all 10 coaches' votes against the Bombers. He's now doing the ruck work. Tapped it down looking for Taylor. It bounced back to him, so he gathers snaps. Doesn't get enough of the curl. It's sitting up, pitching right forward pocket. And off hands, it'll be another boundary throw-in. If you're just joining us as well, Josh Money reporting downstairs. There is some optimism around Jason Horne-Francis's knee after he stopped and propped and came off clutching it against the Swans. Port Adelaide lost by 97 in that game, and Geelong defeated Essendon by 67. Tossed in, tapped down, Berry shovels a handball forward, but Broad's waiting just outside the defensive goal square. Uses Clark, now Campbell. The Tigers head to the right back pocket. Well-weighted kick to Rechko. Had to be pinpoint, didn't it, Jamo?
And in a dangerous area too, a handball right on the bounce.
Now, shout out for Patrick Rechko, who I reckon is the identical twin of DJ Vasiljevic, the Adelaide 36ers. They've got the exact same face.
Looks like Adam Sandler, too.
Heads out to the eastern side. Pack forms there. Lafau lost it in the lights, but it's picked up by Taranto. Thumps it. Tumbling kick forward. Nankervis uses the body to get rid of Curtin. Kicks over the top. They've got the overlap, and the mark's taken by Green. Richmond to get a set shot. 30 out from goal. 45 to the right.
Just a couple of times in this game, the Crows getting sucked inside contest and Richmond spitting out, and chained by hand has been very effective for them. But I think if you're the Crows halfbacks, you want to reset just a little bit, chasing kicks a little bit with their positioning.
It's Michael Annie too. Just tried to attack the footy. Half volley, missed it completely, allowed Nankervis to get it onto his foot.
13-9 for the year for Steely Green. On return to the Tigers side. Long approach, low and hard. It's fading left and a minus score for the Tigers. Scores level again. 1-2-8 as we approach time on in the opening term on ABC Sport.
So Laird has it left back pocket, back into the team. That ankle injury. Looking to lock down his spot in the lead up to finals. Kicks towards centre wing, out of sight of the ground. At the front of the contest, Berry got the fist and Walker gathered. He went the underground handball, but it was blocked. Tried again. Gets it away to Dowling. He's still at centre wing, and his kick was errant. And that goes out of bounds on the full. So Richmond will get the footy back at right half back.
It's not reaching any great heights at the minute, Tom. I'm sorry.
I was about to say the same thing, Jamo. So great minds think alike, they say. And there we go. As you have it, a turnover directly kicked that straight to Oscar Ryan, did Sam Grill. He looks for a kick up towards left half forward, and he's kicked it straight to Nathan Broad. Bit of aerial ping pong. I know we don't like to describe it like that, but that is what we're seeing out here at Adelaide Oval. Scores level.
Broad in his penultimate game. Long and high towards the eastern side. Green flies. Fist comes in from Oscar Ryan, though. It will be a boundary thrown at the Williams stand. What did you make of his debut last week, Jamo?
Yeah, I thought he was good. Thought he was good. Both debut players last week. Opportunity presented well. They both kick a goal.
Yep. And Ryan was moving the ball at 94% of the twos and got it at 89 last week against the Bombers. So handy off half back. Tossed in, tapped down Braden Cook. Here's another good ball mover off the outside of the boot this time. Sends it central, 30 from home. Ludovic gathered the footy and was crunched by Miller.
Too high.
Too high. Free kick goes the way of the young Crow. And a set shot to come slightly to the right.
Miller just straight out. Enthusiasm. Just had to squat and sit over the football. Just rode him straight into the back.
He's a tall man, Ludovic, so it's a decent effort to get him high. Back up all the way to outside 50. Straight out of Sandringham. Yeah, 9 touches and the goal in his debut last week.
Wearing a big number too. Number 34. One of Adelaide's greats, Ben Hart.
So emotional on draft night. He was so anxious about getting picked up. Now he's at the Crows and taking set shots, but missing to the right tonight. It is Adelaide by a point again. 139 plays 128. 22 played opening term on ABC Sport.
So Banks brings it in. Fernand. And he goes to Broad back at the top of the goal square. Oh, risky kick for a moment there. Got it over the top to Miller. Left back pocket. So 22 and a half gone in this opening term. Adelaide leading by a point. 1-3 to 1-2. Switches back onto the other side of the ground. Banks goes short. Goes to Rechko. On the 1-2 to Banks. Takes a bounce. Flat ball up the ground towards Lafau, their goal kicker for tonight.
That's better.
Some decisive ball movement. Now we get a long kick up towards right half forward. Samson Ryan's there. Near Oscar Ryan for Adelaide. Worrell tried to grab that free and Ryan just tackled him around the neck. So the big defender will win a free kick for Adelaide at left half back.
Rain has started very steady and small, like Eugene said on the text line, but there's a lot of wet weather to come here in South Australia across the next week. Let's hope most of it isn't tonight. Out to the eastern side. Berry caught behind and takes a little mini hanger as he sticks the knee into the back of Rechko. Nice specky for the midfielder there as he heads up to left half forward, and Rochelle outmatched there by Anand. He had the size and strength to push off the small forward and take the intercept mark for the Tigers.
A little bit of Wolf Creek about that.
Got a decent hairdo as well. Anand heads up to right half forward. Ryan flies early. Taranto out the back. Towed it between 4 Crows and gets it out for the Tigers. Inside 50 they go. Lawler the target. Fell into the footy. Over the top of him, Michael Annie. Coming through. Taranto decides to leave it, and a hard tackle laid by Ryan as he wins the holding the ball free kick up against Steely Green, who was lurking near the scoreboard, and the rain starting to get heavier now. It's the Crows by a point.
A good tackle from Oscar Ryan, but also a great effort from Michael Annie to hold up play there when Richmond looked out again.
Down the line, O'Brien gets 2 hands to it, rove by Berry, gets it off to Taylor Walker, and he tries to ride the tackle there of Rechko. And he couldn't, holding the ball. It's great work from Rechko, having a good quarter. Certainly finding plenty of it, putting some pressure on as well. In these conditions, got to send it high and long. The only man who wanted that footy was Riley O'Brien, the big ruckman. He's got it at centre-half back. So Crows leading by a point, goes by hand. Jamo will be happy with that towards Worrell.
Well done.
Neil Bullen got some front-on contact there, so he'll get a free kick just outside the centre square. Sam Berry provides some run through the middle of the ground, looking for Ludowick, but he's just muscled under it. Well done by Miller, who takes intercept mark at centre-half back.
Kalgoorlie kid shoots the handball out. Prestia wide to Rechko. Former Cats rookie. Traded for pick 99. Heads down the line. It's a wide bounce. Does Green get a hand in time? Umpire says no. Last disposal free kick. Adelaide's way to Braden Cook.
I think Ben Miller, I think he was recruited more as a forward too, but then they've tried him back and he's been really dour.
They've needed him without Tyler Young, who's gone to the Eagles, and they also got rid of another tall defender in Jacob Blight, so they've needed him down back, and he's delivered for them in a tough year. Cook goes back to Laird, heads to the eastern side. Richmond had the numbers there, and Broad gets the fly over the top of Ludowick. Long history with the Crows, this man in his penultimate game. The suspension for the tackle on Paddy Parnell. He broke his cheekbone against them, and in his first proper season, he won a flag against the Crows. Broad goes inside 50, and Lafau just lands in his lap as he gets around Rochelle and takes the mark.
Well, there's only 10 seconds remaining on the clock, and he's got 25 to have a shot, so a great start for Richmond, and probably deserve a little bit more too with the amount of football they've had in their forward 50.
Kelty Lafau in front of the Wanganeen stand to take the lead at the first change. Lafau gets close to the man on the mark. Kick is looking close, and he's managed to squeeze it home. And G loves it as well. Turns to the Light Tower fans, sticks up the big fist. And Richmond are up at the major break by 5 off Kelty Lafau's 2 goals in the term. 2-2-14 to 1-3-9. And the rain has just eased off a little bit. It's going to be on and off through the night here at the Adelaide Oval. So the goal scorer's first change, 2 to Lafau, Taylor Walker with the 1 for the Crows. Earlier today, Melbourne won an absolute epic against Fremantle by 4 points. The D's have won 5 of their last 6 now, right in the mix for a top 4 finish. Sydney defeated Port by 97 points, kicked 9 unanswered in the second term, and 23 of the last 28 goals. And it was a massive margin in the end for them as they piled on their biggest ever score against Port Adelaide. And Geelong defeated Essendon by 67 at Kardinia Park, so the Cats in the hunt as well for the double chance. Here it is, Adelaide by 5, Richmond by 5 I should say at the first change, 2-2-14 to 1-3-9. We'll be back with you next on ABC Local Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Okay, let's do it.
The ABC Listen app now has a space just for kids and families. The only place for new episodes of Bluey Listen Along. Radio, podcasts and routines.
I love it.
Everything families need anytime on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Threading the needle, but no one's ahead of the ball. Short will get back for Richmond. Handed it off. Prestia tried to move it forward and handed it straight to Jordan Dawson. The ricochet works for the Crows. Archie set upon but gets it out. Keys kicks central and Walker takes the mark. Just the required 15. 30 from home, slightly to the left. Taylor Walker crosses the paint of 50. Kick looks good. Adelaide gets the first goal of the game at the 12-minute mark.
Taylor Walker's playing behind the ball for a moment there. Fists it forward. Quick kick, though, from Judson Clark. Over the top to Houghton, who put the 360 on Keane. Looks for Lafau and hits him. That was brilliant. Clark's 25 out, slight angle to the left.
Taj Houghton. He's been in all of it, hasn't he, really, when they've gone forward? Very classy.
Serious player.
And they get the response. And McKelty pops it straight through it. He looks straight for Houghton to say thanks very much for delivering it on a platter.
Broad goes inside 50 and Lafau just lands in his lap as he gets around Rochelle and takes the mark.
Well, there's only 10 seconds remaining on the clock, and he's got 25 to have a shot. So
in front of the Wanganeen stand to take the lead at the first change. Lafau gets close to the man on the mark. Kick is in close, and he's managed to squeeze it home. And G loves it as well. Turns to the Light Tower fans, sticks up the big fist. and Richmond are up at the major break by 5 off McKelty Lafau's 2 goals in the term.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
What a start here at the Adelaide Oval. Low scoring, but considering we've got a top 4 hopeful against the bottom 2 Tigers, it's a close game. 2-2-14. Richmond leads to 1-3-9. Good crowd in attendance. Cold night in the festival state. Text line 0437 774 774 if you want to get in touch. News coming through across the night about Jason Horne-Francis's knee, but the report from downstairs from Josh Money is the news out of Port Adelaide is it may be a hyperextension, not an ACL, which would be good news there. D's, Swans and Cats all winners earlier today, so the Crows really need to get this one done. Aaron Bryans alongside Tom Wilson, your experts, premiership players, Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell to unpack the first term.
It was like a game of tennis, really, just one end to the other. Intercept marks. Ben Miller in defence for Richmond doing very well. 4 marks in that quarter. Richmond worked around the boundary at times, used it well and got it deep. 12 inside 50s to 10, but just their turnover. And then Adelaide again, I just felt they went one way. Early, they were able to manoeuvre through the ground, but a lot of the time when they went inside 50, they just bombed and went long, and that's not how they want to play. So testament maybe to Richmond's defence.
Yeah, I thought Richmond defended the ground well, especially in their front half. And 12 inside 50s to 10 that you mentioned, for Richmond to have more footy inside 50 than Adelaide in this first quarter is wild to me, and just shows that while both game styles were a little bit stagnant, I think Richmond were more patient and more willing to work to perimeter and get the ball going, and Lafau was a key part of that. We saw him torch the footy early in the quarter, but he kept presenting up really well. And for a big guy to have 2 goals and 162 metres gained in a quarter of footy is just one example of his work rate. And it's a really strong quarter from a big key forward, and really set the tone, which I don't think many Crows players could say they've worked to that level in this first quarter, and perhaps waiting for someone else to get the job done. They just look too stagnant, and we know that their back half offence, they can really get going. They're obviously missing Wayne Miller, but you just got to generate speed on the ball, and they're trying those shorter chip kicks when the rain hit, and it's not heavy yet, but Richmond defending those shorter kicks inside and the overlap handball and squashing that from the Crows. They just couldn't get run and gun, and then when there were 1v1s ahead of the ball, they weren't backing them in, Jamo, and so you're just a little bit too stagnant and too easy to defend.
Rechko is the player for Richmond. He had 7 disposals, but unfortunately he's had 5 kicks, only going at 20%. Prestia, Banks, Ralph Smith, Broad in defence. Tim Taranto, he is the player. If I'm Adelaide, I want to shut him down and keep him out of the game. He is their number 1 midfield player that is high up in all their metrics, so only 4 in that quarter. Sam Berry just keeps taking his game to another level. 9 disposals. Alex Neil-Bullen 6, and Mark Keane, the Irish defender, with 5.
5th time this year that Richmond's been leading at the first break. See how it goes from here as they take on the Crows, who are hoping to move back into the top 4. Sam Berry, fresh off being managed with a foot injury, Jamo. Doesn't seem to be hurting him tonight. So
too many kicks.
Done pretty well. All right, second term about to get underway for Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Great to have your company here in South Australia. Tossed up in the air. Nankervis and O'Brien reignite their battle. The ladder wins it down for the Crows. Got it to Dawson. Now Rankin shakes his opponent high towards the 50. Rochelle trying to use the body against Brown. Hit the deck. Coming through Thilthorpe. Releases Neil-Bullen. Off a step. Heads for home. And it's wide left. Takes a bounce and over the boundary line. 15 out left forward pocket. It is Richmond by 4.
Isaac Rankin, just speed, skill. Was able to get around. Was it Laylaw in the middle of the ground?
Boundary throw in. Opportunity for Riley O'Brien towards Rankin, who knocks it to space towards Peatling. Gets it away to Dawson. Back outside the 50 towards Isaac Cumming. He goes for home and pucks it through the middle. Wingman hits the scoreboard and puts Adelaide back in front there, 2-3-15. Richmond 2-2-14, minute into this second term.
Well, those are the forward 50 stoppage goals that the Crows would have been walking through in terms of structure since pre-season, and Cumming positioned himself perfectly as the half-back, ready for the handball receive. The ball kept alive well by Peatling and Dawson. Nice little feed and beautiful finish from Isaac Cumming, the one the Crows needed.
He's 7 straight for the year now, Isaac Cumming, so they might need to use him more. Handy pick up from the Giants. Just a couple of games with a hamstring issue, but otherwise has really anchored down that role on the wing. We've had 3 lead changes across a quarter and a minute.
Just your ability as a player when you're under pressure and or tackled. Peatling on that occasion, Taranto tackled him, but just sense of mind to know where his teammate was and give it off as he was being in that 360.
Back in the middle now, Curvis down. Taranto tackled by 2. Quick ball up to come just outside the centre circle. O'Brien down. Didn't carry too far. Peatling collared by Lawler too high. Free kick goes Adelaide's way. He'll quickly play on and shoot the handball to his skipper. Dawson releases Curtin, who arches the back and drills a footy towards Neil Bullen. Hand came in from Banks. He falls into the footy, though. Neil Bullen came in from behind him as well, and a quick ball up signalled. Bit of feeling as well. A couple of players are pulled out of that. Steely Green getting stuck into Braden Cook. Ball up on the paint of 50 right now for the Crows.
2 big men go at it. O'Brien down towards Taranto. Gets a quick kick away to the middle of the ground. Important ball to be won. Just went through Houghton. Strong there from Laird. Gets the handball away to Cook, now to Dawson. Lowering the eyes, looking for Taylor Walker. But what a spectacular grab there was from Adams.
Super.
It's like a slips catch.
He has been impressive, hasn't he, in the first quarter and a bit?
Like his size. Out from right, back pocket, up towards Nankervis. O'Brien in front. Takes a strong contested mark. He's got Keane if he wants to give the handball off. He's going to send it in. Another lovely drop punt inside the forward 50. Flying was Walker. The whistle goes. It's going to be a free kick off the ball. Going to Vlosten. I think that was up against Archie, was the man who gave that one away. So Richmond has the footy at the top of their defensive goal square with Vlosten. He goes short now to Annan, and that's a mongrel kick out of defence. It might work if it can bounce the right way. Not to be. Worrell gathered, gets the handball over to Neil Bullen, tried to shrug the tackle at centre half forward, gets it to Dawson, who looks for Cook, who marks left half forward, 40 metres out in a tough angle.
That is a laser leg, quite the opposite to the exiting kick from Richmond. But Jordan Dawson's ability to swing onto his left and put it down the throat of Braden Cook, hitting the outside as a winger. Now we'd expect this goes through, wouldn't we?
Pretty good kick. Is Braden Cook. Some big goals this season, none bigger than in the first showdown as Rod Jamieson nods away. Runs around to the right and a lovely gun barrel straight drop punt. Cook gives Adelaide back-to-back goals to start the second term. They extend their margin to 7 points at 3-3-21, 2-2-14.
That's where Richmond need to be a little worried here now. So Adelaide in that first quarter, 3 centre clearances. Richmond weren't able to win it there. And they've done it on a couple of occasions already in this second quarter. Inside 50s now, 5-0 Adelaide's way. 4 minutes in and they kicked 2 goals.
It's a fair start from the Crows, and just far better defence and forcing the Richmond players to go to kicks that are much more difficult than what the positions were they had to execute in that first quarter. So good defence leads to good offence, doesn't it?
Most times.
Game 50 for Braden Cook tonight as well. First round pick from a few years ago. Nice moment for him. Crows up by 7. Tossed up. Low one as well. O'Brien coming through, knocked it down to Curtin, who swats it wide to the broadcast wing. Tracking it pretty well there was Judson Clark coming through with speed. Shoots the handball forward for Richmond. Head over the footy. Ross under a lot of pressure. Got a handball away. Lawler second to the footy. Had the tackle coming. And the Crows have the numbers. Curtin gets it out. Rankin streamlining off half back. Gets it towards Dawson. Drew in 4. Shot the handball out. Now they've got some space. Coming to Cook. Fleet-footed as he sidesteps his way around the Tigers and heads up to left half forward, but Thilthorpe's caught behind. Backtracking the intercept mark taken by Miller, who wants to go, puts on the Jets, but no one was ready for him. So he's run into defensive 50, has no one to go to, had to stop and prop, and finally gets Anand top of the defensive goal square. It's the Crows by 7 here at the Adelaide Oval, second term on ABC Sport.
Just pushing them back here, and that's a very high ball out of defence. Nankervis gets hands to it. Roved well there. Judson Clark. But his kick to the middle of the ground was poor. Kicked it straight to Isaac Rankin.
Let's go short.
So he rolls around. Quick play on. Goes right down the middle. Walker gets a fly at this. Annan gets the spoil in there. Brown is there. But Taranto gathers, the veteran. Just kicks to space up towards the centre wing. Tom Lynch got to the back on Keane. Does a nice little turn, but there's literally nowhere to go. And he just handballed it straight to Josh Worrell. Direct turnover. Hugo Hall-Kahan did well to get past Sam Lawler. His 45 kick was dangerous. Well read there by Steely Green and gathered. Goes to Prestia.
Prestia heads inside 50. Little long in the end for Houghton. It clears out the back door. Lynch tries to gather rank and cops a heavy hip and shoulder there from Dan Curtin. Well played as he drops the Tigers' big man to the deck. Adelaide get the clearing kick, but it's not quite accurate. Tumbles wide and over of Archie. Will be last disposal free kick to the Tigers. Vostone to Prestia. Gee, what about that hip and shoulder there, Jamo?
But how clean was Rankin too? Like he just burst past Tom Lynch and then down one hand. Wet football. So the kick 50 metres out. Yes, Richmond got it back, but now it's deep in the defence for Richmond.
Yeah, and it's kick another bad one, but Miller had enough time. Gets it off to Grill, the youngster, up towards right half forward. One-on-one contest, and a hold there is going to go against Ralph Smith anyway, but Isaac Cumming, the goal kicker, took the mark at left half back. He hits up Rochelle, corner of the centre square, left-hand side, Members side of the ground. Dowling cleverly finds some space on the wing. He's got his skipper and Dawson over the top by hand. He strolls through centre wing, looks for Thilthorpe. Adden creates a good contest. Rode by Miller, and the switch is on.
Excellent decision-making there. He left Taylor Walker. If they got the overlap, would have been a goal. But Kai Anand, in what is just his 9th game, commits to the fist, and Richmond win the footy. Now they're sharing it through defensive 50.
You don't say too often that Jordan Dawson, that was a bad kick, but it was. Riley Thilthorpe just sat it on his head and it just sat up too long.
Short to Miller. He's in the right back pocket and calling for options. Finally, Lynch comes up the broadcast wing and he sends it right to him. Nearly clunked it over the top of Dawson there. They fall into the footy, and a ball up to come just behind left half forward for the Crows.
Dawson's trying to claim the mark in the contest. He has had 7 disposals already in this second quarter, Jordan Dawson.
And O'Brien down looking for Berry. It trickles its way towards the boundary line, and Berry will be buffeted over alongside it. Umpires coming together, whether or not it came off a shin, but I think that was higher than the knee roll, so it will be tossed into play. Very inexperienced quartet tonight. So Curtis Du Bois, 228 games, but around him, Joseph O'Brien's in his 12th, Sam Morgan in his 6th, and Joel Clamp in his 11th. So 3 first-year umpires tonight alongside the veteran. Tossed in. Berry lays the tackle on Ralph Smith. Richmond still win out. Clark gets it out across to Ross. Kick nearly smothered by Dawson. Did enough to get it up to right half forward. High bounce for Lafau. Didn't quite track it. Worrell did well to knock it wide. Ryan gets it off to Cumming. Sweeps the handball through defensive 50. Curtin zigging and zagging away from Green, and the kick's good as he wheels on the left and hits Josh Worrell. It's the Crows by 7. Haven't had a score in about 5 minutes. 9 played second term on ABC Sport.
Better kick.
2 good kicks in a row. Worrell to Dowling. He's got Michael Oney running by. Goes to him by hand, just defensive side of the logo. Up towards centre half forward, but playing behind. It was. And Loston was playing in front and took the intercept mark. Quickly onto Lafau. Bit of front on contact. Cleverly roved. Handball back towards Houghton. We know what he can do with the footy. Out wider towards Clark. Looking for a target inside the 50. Just can't quite hit it. They've just been poor inside 50, the Tigers. And a big, strong tackle. And you can hear the cheers for ball. The umpire says no prior opportunity there for Ralph Smith. We'll have the ball up at right half forward. The Tigers trail by 7.
Sonsi got so low trying to catch it, he almost did a headstand. He just caved into the turf and just couldn't take the mark. Tossed up and then curves paddles it towards the line, so it'll be tossed into play.
It's a little bit about giving your keys to a 10-year-old at the moment for Richmond. Like, they're just trying, they can't quite execute what they're trying to do.
Does feel like
house keys or car keys?
Yeah, car keys. You've thrown them, you think you've thrown them the house keys, but you've thrown them the car keys.
Nankervis down. Hits Clark, who uses Houghton. Now Banks tries to place it right forward pocket. Lafau was there, little long. Lynch is at the back though. Gathers, gets it to the left boot and reckons he's squeezed it through the attempted smother. Josh Worrell with a desperate dive. Goal umpires coming together. And we'll have to head upstairs. Soft call is going to be a behind. Lynch didn't overly commit to the celly. Worrell's fingertips, I think, might have just beaten the studs of Tom Lynch's boot.
Yes, I think you're right, Aaron. It's
photo finish. This one might take a little longer than the last we checked.
Can't work out if he's toed it or if that's Worrell's fingertips.
What's touched it last?
I was watching the footy, was it Thursday night or Friday night, where they actually went down to the Arc and all these extra cameras and all these extra...
Yep.
Thursday night, I think.
We heard from Adam Kelly last weekend. He got a tour of the Arcs facilities when they travelled to play Essendon, so I think the league's keen to expose a lot of those in the industry to how it all comes together. This is taking an absolute eternity to determine, and everyone's set up like it's going to be a behind.
Seems inconclusive from what we're seeing here.
You'd think after all this time you'd just go with the goal umpire.
Yeah.
They still really haven't. We're getting shot after shot after shot, and the crowd's getting so restless. Here we go. And they're insufficient evidence. So it will be a behind, and it will be Adelaide by 6 here at the Adelaide Oval. Crows are 3-3-21. Richmond will move to 2-3-15. 12 played, second term on ABC Sport.
So the Crows bring the ball back in after that stoppage of play. Paul Gahan went short to Oscar Ryan, who's certainly feeling himself in his second game. Looking good. Worrell now out towards O'Brien. Can he get a touch on another poor kick? Not reaching great heights. We mentioned in the first quarter. Been tough to watch in the last 5 minutes. So Nankervis with the free kick from the lasso up towards Lynch. Couldn't get a strong flight at Keane in a better position. Gets it out over the boundary line. We'll have it thrown right forward pocket.
To illustrate your point, Tom, Adelaide's running at 57% kicking efficiency. Richmond's 70%. Not kicking like a team trying to go for top 4 tonight.
Boundary throw in. O'Brien and Nankervis. Quick kick out of defence. Hits a target. That'll improve the percentage loss. Marked by Benny Keys.
And a 50 as well as he looked to play on. Judson Clark just overcommitted and stepped off the stand. So Ben Keys, attacking edge now, has a runner, releases Rochelle for the Crows. He'll drive it towards the top of the goal square. Dawson's waiting there, juggles and marks in front. Jordan Dawson can play everywhere. Set shot to come, 10 out.
His work rate in this quarter has been exceptional, Dawson, but what I love there from the Crows is just that overlap handball and driving kick from Rochelle. The key defender at the moment for Richmond's been Nick Vlostone, not just with his body positioning but with his voice to bring others into the game, and it went over Vlostone's head, which meant it was one-on-one ahead of the ball. Big moment for the Crows skipper, who's eyeing a record 4th Malcolm Blight medal. Will be 4 straight as well. Dawson comes in and kicks his 100th career goal. Bullet low and hard through the big sticks. And it's Adelaide by 12 midway through the second term. 4-3-27 plays 2-3-15. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell.
He's played his 110th with Adelaide, and I must admit when he went in Sydney, I don't think I'd heard a great deal about him. He was just on his early journey, but geez, he's been incredible since he's been here, hasn't he? Like,
I was living up in Sydney when he was playing there, so I was, following their team pretty closely. Certainly showed flashes. Certainly being able to play forward and back. I don't think this midfield was probably in his arc. I don't think even Adelaide realised that.
Yeah. It's almost Tom Mitchell-esque, a guy who was very talented but just couldn't get a game at Sydney. Shines elsewhere.
Playing every position outside of the ruck on the ground. That's what makes him so good.
Elite running ability as well.
Leadership as well. So Crows up by 12 points from the restart. Thilthorpe in the ruck now. Gets it off towards Cook. Gathers. Handball over the top towards Dowling. He handballs again towards left half forward. Taylor Walker comes out strong. Swung in the tackle. Not sure how he got rid of that. Play on, says the umpire. Rochelle pushed in the back by Lawler. Right in front of the umpire this time, and he'll get the free kick.
The pressure from Richmond is good. Adelaide have had 24 kicks this quarter, 25 handballs.
So Rochelle's sore here. I'm not sure if he's copped one where you don't want to get it.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
And in the cold. Hope he doesn't have to ride a bike home.
It's not the 90s, Jamo. We'll get to Josh Money shortly. His short kick went to Cumming, goes inside the 50 and hits the target of Peatling.
That'd be disappointing from a Richmond perspective, how easy that was.
Space in that forward line, and there are a couple of Crows jumping at it. James Peatling, who took the mark, 25 out in the slight angle to the left. Still hobbling down there on the boundary is Josh Rochelle. What a good one to see.
Bit of John Wayne in him.
Going downstairs too.
So, in the meantime, James Peatling has an opportunity. 25 metres out. He just kicked that one way too hard and pulled it off to the left. 4-4 Adelaide 28, Richmond 2-3 15. What did you see down there, Josh?
Yeah, what more can you say, really, Tom, other than ouch? It's certainly one that hurts probably more than usual. He was really, the doctors were trying to take him down into the rooms, and he kept stopping and had to assess the sore area. So they'll assess him now, but certainly a very painful one indeed.
Just saw it on the screen there, Josh, quickly. It was Sam Laylaw's left foot when he was lying on the ground. So either trod on or kicked.
So Richmond exit to the broadcast side, but it's coming straight back. Rankin close to the benches, heads to left half forward. Walker thought he had enough of it to take the mark. Arm came over the shoulder anyway, so free kick to the Texan. Too far out to score. Does have pretty good range, but this will test him if he had a track. Heads to left half forward. Walker into the pocket. Miller put both hands up to try and cut it off. Philthorpe took it out the back. Late whistle going the way of Richmond. Vlostone taken out of the contest.
The entry at the moment of Adelaide is not good, is it? The only time they've scored is when they got it in quick, low and hard.
Vlostone goes across the goal face towards the scoreboard. He was heading to Brown. He tried to share it, but it was a dangerous movement. And set upon Steely Green, tackled, free kick, holding the ball. Adelaide's going to get a set shot here through Dan Curtin.
Probably a little lucky there. So the arm was across his left shoulder, wasn't it?
Yep. Adamuze not happy in the coach's box.
Couple of brain fades from the Tigers here after a very competitive start. They're up by 4 at the first change. Adelaide's now up by 13. Dan Curtin looking to punish them here. Starts at right half forward. Slow approach as he leans over the footy. Curtin sprays it left. Very wide. Another blemish. Adelaide's 4-5-29. Richmond still in the fight. 2-3-15. Closing in on time on in the second term.
It was well defended by Curtin. That's what you want to see from your winger. But one notable stat I can see in front of us is the Crows have had 9 tackles in almost 20 minutes of this second quarter. Richmond only 4.
So Miller brings it out. Looking for his ruckman in Ryan. And Keane in that contest gets a fist to it out over the boundary.
So we spoke about at quarter time how well Richmond had defended their front half, and they had 2 more inside 50s. But to have only 4 tackles as a whole team in 20 minutes of football, 19, if I'm speaking with more clarity, is unacceptable at this level.
I had a look at when they last played too. Loz round 9, and Adelaide won them by 37. Tackles 62 Adelaide, and Richmond only had 38.
Big work on for them. Something that hasn't really happened yet. So Rankin goes to Peatling at centre wing. Now to Laird. Full switches on towards centre half back and Worrell. He's got Curtin working for him. Goes a bit straighter to his housemate in Hawker Hahn. At centre half back. Now to Laird, who's worked his way across the logo. Outer side of the ground. Plays on. Looking in board. Stops still. Handballs. Put Peatling under a lot of pressure. Quick kick around the body to Keys. That's better tackling pressure. Bit of a lift there from the Tigers, and we'll have a ball up centre wing outer side of the ground.
Just didn't look confident in their ball movement there. The Tigers closed a lot of doors. Stoppage to come on the eastern side. Ryan up against O'Brien. The Richmond ruck wins it down to Prestia. Jams the kick forward. Bit of top spin as it bounces wide of Lafau. Lynch couldn't quite track it. Keane did very well. The man from County Cork places his kick. Gets the Crows to right half back.
It's summer's night for him, Aaron.
Worrell in board to coming. They're looking to switch here, the Crows, but again, just not totally sold on the option, so he retreats last possible moment, swings the kick back. Keane has it top of the defensive goal square. Now they'll go through the broadcast side. Braden Cook tucks it under one arm. Has a bounce. Saws it up to left half forward. Taylor's outmatched. Well held. Broad can fly, but Annan can take the intercept mark for Richmond at right half back. Josh Money downstairs.
Yeah, Josh Rochelle has emerged from downstairs after that downstairs issue. Big smile on his face, a lot of feedback from the crowd, and he's being a really good sport about it, so he looks all good to go.
Kick down the line, goes off the back of Houghton. Will have a ball up right half forward for the Tigers.
Can't be ideal, but what has been ideal for Richmond is Kyle Annan. He's taken 5 marks in this quarter. Really standing up. I think he's benefiting from the voice of Vlostone and Broad around him. Peeling off really well.
Great players to learn off. He's really stepping up to the party. Rove by Rankin at left half back. Quick kick around the body. Annan again. Just couldn't complete the mark. Neil Bullen gathers the footy. Wants to step inside. Handballs towards Taylor. Broad's hot in his hammer. Shakes him off. Flat ball inside the forward 50 to Ludovic. Couldn't gather. Jack Ross gets it. And Miller, dangerous ball again. This is what hurt them last time, but doing well in defence was Rechko to Miller to Broad at right half back. And he's cleaned up there by Dawson. And they're both in a bit of pain here. At right half back for Richmond. Dawson's having a few words, and it's going to be a 50-metre penalty. It was almost like a spear-type movement into the ribs of Broad. And he's going to be advanced down the field.
Did try to pull out of it and almost fell into the back of Broad, and Dawson's got the rear end of Nathan into his chest and it's hurt him. Broad's got one right at the spine. It wasn't really 50 either. It's kind of been marched to the back half of the centre square. It's more of a 25. They're saying NFL style.
Have a kick from here.
Broad heads to right half forward. Little long on his kick, and O'Brien tracks it well. He's looked great tonight.
He's doing everything he can.
Every chance they could double up again against Freo next week, and another 50 this time going Adelaide's way.
It was Samson Ryan, was it? Didn't stand?
Nope. So Riley O'Brien.
Got to give the handball. Give the handball.
He's looking for somebody, and finally he gets the option. O'Brien releases Hawker-Hahn, gives it to Worrell. Walker direction. He didn't fly for the mark in the end. Pulled out, and Anand commits to it to take another mark for Richmond in D50. Crows by 14, time on it in the second term on ABC Sport.
You've got to have a crack at those in the air if you text. He'll know that.
Out towards the wing. Waiting at the front of the pack there was Sonzi. Just going to take it out towards the boundary line. Some pressure from Laird.
How much taller is it Anand? Is it we saying Anand?
Anand.
Yeah,
Anand. How much taller is he than Tex?
Well, he's 200 centimetres.
Tex is 192.
It's showing.
Yep, a few inches there. So O'Brien knocks it down in the ruck. Berry bursts through, takes a bounce at right half forward. Goes inside that forward 50. Gets out the back towards Thilthorpe. Brown has got two Crows on him, and he just ran through. That was brilliant stuff. And he hits the chest of his teammate in Banks. Brilliant play.
Banks hands it off to Vlostone, the triple premiership Tiger. Up the broadcast wing he goes. It falls in the hole between four. Ryan up against Rankin. Tried to swat it forward. Just a soft touch. Rankin pulled away from the footy. Ross releases Richmond. Here comes Seth Campbell, who screws the kick central. Bounces short of Sonsi. Coming across curtain for the Crows. Hands it to Dawson, then Hawker-Hahn. Heads to the eastern side. Well weighted to Berry, who takes it back with the flight. Right half back.
Oh, he would...
Had a couple of options on the eastern wing. Now handed off to Dan Curtin, who spun in the tackle by Lafau. Turnover, Richmond pounce the Tigers through Prestia. Kicks towards Green. He can turn in a paddock and tumble one through. Richmond off the turnover strike. And it's a single-digit game again. Crows 4-5-29. Richmond 3-3-21. Steely Greens on the board at the Adelaide Oval. 24 played, second term. Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell, your experts on ABC Sport.
Just the ability not to be able to move the football quickly. They were trying to. I think the defence of Richmond just to stand and make it difficult. It had Rochelle in the middle, had he got it there. And I think it was Alex Neil-Bullen was also the next in line over the top. Richmond would have been outnumbered, but they were able to win the football back. Turnover. Well done.
Yeah, Prestia to Green is classy footy from Richmond, and that's all you want to see if you're a Richmond fan is show the class and the level that you're at. But Sam Berry's got a poorly timed rotation. He's the one that gave the footy up and had to come to the bench straight after, so no doubt he's getting some healthy feedback.
The human meatball, Tom.
The human meatball. I had that up my sleeve, Jamo. We're in sync tonight. So from the ball up, Tim Taranto got it forward, but Rankin did best to get it to Cumming to O'Brien. He goes hands to his skipper and Dawson. Laird by hand over the top to Hawker-Hahn. Couldn't quite shake the tackle in the first moment, but does in the end. Kicks a dangerous ball to the top of the goal square. Thilthorpe dropped a sitter. Would have been a certain goal. Brown in the goal square, still under pressure. Chucks it on his left boot. Kicks for territory. Foot races on towards the boundary line. Cleverly done to knock it forward. Very well done there by Clark. Riley Thilthorpe We talked about how he clunked him last week. He's dropped an absolute sitter at the top of the goal square.
Well, you could be stewing on that for the rest of the night. Alex Neil-Bullen's made sure he got over to Thilthorpe while this stoppage is forming. Little high five. Keep going, mate. He's going to need that.
They're leaving the door ajar. O'Brien down. Billy Dowling. High helicopter towards the 50. Broad gets underneath it with the fist and he's cannoned into by Thilthorpe as he falls to the ground. Coming through, Neil Bullen shoots the handball to Rochelle. Tried to milk a free kick as Miller brought him down without it. Richmond say thank you very much for not competing. Clearing kick to Nankervis. He has it at right half back, the skipper. Checks his kick. Wide 45 to the boundary. Judson Clark again. He looks great for a guy who's missed 867 days. 2 ACLs. Heads up towards the attacking edge. Committing to the fist was keen, but he didn't make the contact. The foul stayed down. Shoots the handball. Steely Green lowers the kick and drills it to the top of the goal square. Mark taken. Set shot to come. Seth Campbell for Richmond as the heavens start to open at the Adelaide Oval.
Richmond look good on turnover, don't they? Yeah. Apply enough pressure. There's enough Crows waiting for someone else to do the job.
The reigning leading goal kicker, Seth Campbell, opens the angle. And Richmond get back-to-back goals late in the second term. Margins just 2 points. 4-5-29 the Crows. The Tigers 4-3-27. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. How you doing, Josh Money?
You said we might have to. You said it might hold into the second half. You gave me false hope. This is not good, is it? And the radar shows no sign of letting up. So it's certainly settled in, and some of the fans are making a run for cover, and the true believers are staying down at ground level with me.
Well, that's why Bethany Alderson does the weather here in South Australia, and I just do the sport, because this is ugly. It's gotten so heavy in terms of the rain. Crows by 2 here at the Adelaide Oval.
You talking about the weather or the way the Crows are going at the moment?
Yeah, both are sneaking it up, really. 29 more disposals in this second quarter, yet Richmond 2-1 to Adelaide 3-2.
O'Brien did well to get it to Rankin. He got it to Dawson. Ryan, Oscar, that is, under a lot of pressure, wrapped up in a strong tackle there from Ralph Smith.
Full credit to Richmond here. We spoke pre-game like, well, you want to be within range when this rain hits, and that's exactly what they've done.
Nankervis down towards Clark. 2.23s that stay in, holding the ball. I think Rankin thought he was over the line, so he just dropped it, but he was still in play. So free kick Richmond. They go inside the forward 50 again. Another scoring opportunity. Falls out the back. Ball in dispute. It's bucketing down at Adelaide Oval. Lafau's there. Oscar Ryan trying his best. Hands and knees work at the bottom of the pack. Shoveled out Richmond's way. Lafau. He's got some space. He handballs. Well gathered in these conditions by Brown. He's pumped it through. Just missed to the left. Oh, he was so clean. That would have been some finish, and it would have put them in front. They're 4-4-28. Adelaide 4-5-29.
Tell you what, Crows had so much of the momentum, but now it's a wet weather game and a 1 point margin. This could go anyway. Out of defensive 50. Worrell tries to launch it to left half back. Off hands, Peatling. Jams a kick forward. It tumbles wide. Rochelle pitches on the boundary line and just crept over for a last disposal free kick.
It was almost the perfect kick for NRL fans. It was almost like a 40-20 just kick for touch, but didn't quite stay in.
So Nathan Board gets the free kick, and Murray Davis and Anthony Nicks assess their options right now. What they're going to do in this single-digit ball game with a minute to go in the second. Broad. Long kick up the broadcast side. Lafau brings it down. Taranto tried to keep it in. Off hands, it rolls over in front of the benches.
Wait, did that just stop?
The rain has, in a matter of a second, stopped. Never seen anything like that.
No.
It's really buckled.
Turn the tap off.
Yes.
I did.
So boundary throw it. 45 seconds left in this first half. Still time for either team. Nankervis knocks it down. Cleverly roved again by Houghton. I've loved his game. Goes inside the forward 50. Keane cleverly knocks it out. Dawson goes to soccer. Clean bowls Neil Bullen. Short pumps it back inside. And if it goes inside the 50... the umpire is right there on the 50-metre line to say it was lasso that side. It was centimetre perfect.
What a great man. What a great man.
Still one of the great lines from one of the greats in Dennis Committee. So kick out of defence towards O'Brien on the logo. He's going to win a free kick. There's still time. they can get it back to him quickly enough.
Time to pump O'Brien up again. He's had another good quarter.
Hands it off. Orkahan to Peatling, central kick. They don't really realise the clock right now, Adelaide. They've got to pull the trigger. Here we go.
Every Richmond player for all in their defensive half.
Michael Annie to a pat just inside 50. Creeps out the back door. Miller hands it off, and Ross will get the clearing kick to get us to half-time here at the Adelaide Oval. Crows fans aren't overly pleased with what they've seen, and they're wet as well. It is the Crows by a point at the major break. 4-5-29. Richmond are 4-4-28. Big game for Adelaide's season. They've got the Dockers on Friday night, their third game in 12 days. And they're currently down in 6th after the D's knocked off Fremantle earlier today, and Brisbane beat Hawthorn last night. So that race for the double chance is oh so tight. And with a tough fixture to come, you cannot bottle one against the 17th place Tigers. Adelaide by a point. Text line tonight 0437 774 774 if you'd like to get in touch. Lauren Arnell, Rod Jamieson are your experts tonight. And it hasn't been the best quality of football team, but at least it's been a close one.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot different really to the first quarter, where there wasn't a great deal in it. There was only 5 points in favour of Richmond. And then Adelaide jumped out in the first 4 minutes and kicked 2 goals. And then after that, they were unable to score. Just the way. They're just kicking it long. And they're going to the same spots again at the northern end, making it very easy for Richmond to defend. And they are able to do that too. Anand had 6 marks in that quarter in defence for Richmond. But then just their inability to be able to use the football at times to get it forward, Loz. But when they did on 3 occasions in that quarter, 2-goal-2.
Yeah, I heard your frustration, Jamo, throughout that quarter in terms of those dump kicks inside 50 for Adelaide. And often the Richmond players, particularly Annan, has positioned themselves so well. I liked Flosstone's first quarter, and Annan stepped up in that second quarter. I think he had 5 marks. And they seem to all be intercept marks too. So, I mean, full credit to Richmond. I like the way they shape the contest. They like to get on the outside and use their run and carry. The skills haven't been at the highest of levels that we've seen at Adelaide Oval this year, but I think you've got to give credit to Richmond where it's due and surely as a Tigers man, you'd be happy with this first half.
Well, Richmond generally playing wet weather footy, so 50 kicks, 22 handballs. Adelaide, 54 kicks, 51 handballs. So the pressure is good, throwing it around, missing the body, trying to keep it alive, but either one-on-one or just enough off to be able to then, if the kick's not right or the handball's a lob one, then Richmond are able to get to their opponent.
Adelaide have had 42 more disposals in a half, but just haven't done anything dangerous with it. And those longer kicks, I think they're to advantage if you go a little bit quicker. But if you slow down, and Richmond, it was patchy in terms of their defensive effort. I think the tackle count is far too low to win a game of footy. They've only had 9 tackles in that second quarter, Richmond. But they did defend the ground well, and they forced the Crows to go slower inside 50, and Tex has been well beaten by Anand. Phil Thorpe's been caught behind at times on Miller. Miller's the leading disposal winner for Richmond as well with 12. So I think the defenders have been very, very good, and not enough dangerous footy from Adelaide.
Given one of the major talking points in the week was the future of Adamuze and his record, which is historically low for a senior coach in their first few games or first few seasons, it feels like he's actually done a very good job of tactically unpacking what can be an uncontested brand from Adelaide tonight, and being able to essentially zone off and impact their inside 50 entries.
100%. And I mean, it's round 22, right? And they've been torched by injury as bad as anyone, if not worse than any other team in the competition this year. And so to have a group of young players playing at this level against what could be a top 4 team in round 22 of a really difficult season, what if they had 3 wins all year? I think it's very commendable. And now it's like, for how long can you compete against what I think should be a good finals team this year?
3 out of their last 25 games, Jamo. So they haven't won a lot, Richmond.
No. Wow. Ben Miller leading the way in that quarter, 8 disposals, Jordan Dawson 12. But then go Calamar Chi and Ludovic hadn't touched the footy in that quarter. But Sam Laylaw, for such a talent, did not touch the footy in that second quarter. And either did Samson Ryan. So, see if they can get him some football.
But you can see the chemistry with the young stars. So 7 first-rounders out there tonight. There's still 8 that are currently unavailable, but they're starting to get some rhythm together. And you can see the likes of Grill, who's found enough of the footy. Taj Houghton's probably had his best game so far, so he's looked great. And then, from an Adelaide perspective, it's just trying to get their entries a little crisper because the Stars are finding the footy, but ball movement just hasn't been good enough. It's 66% kicking tonight. Earlier today, Melbourne defeated Fremantle by 4 points at the MCG. They won 5 of their last 6. This was one of the games of the season. Went back to see, it's been a while since we've had a real blockbuster close clash between heavyweights. I reckon round 15 with Freo and Geelong was probably the last time, and this is kind of the kickstarter to September. We see a game like that and you go, there's some A-grade footy coming.
Well, probably should have been Brisbane Hawthorn last night, shouldn't it? Like, if we're talking heavyweights and teams that are going to play deep into finals, it should have been at the Gabba last night, but you're right, Az.
8 lead changes for it, and Melbourne kicked 4 of the last 5 goals after being down 8 at the final change.
Well, a couple of rounds ago too, that Fremantle-Sydney game, when Sydney were all over Freo in Perth, and then Freo just went bang in that last quarter. That was as good a footy as I've seen from a team this year.
There is some common threads between, when Fremantle have been either outmatched over a half or beaten, like the Giants did a while back, is their ball use. So they got out-pressured by Melbourne. They were negative 15 on turnover, and that was enough. They won clearance by 15, but just didn't use it well enough, and the D's pounced, and a little bit ominous when the D's have Port Adelaide next week, and they're one of the best pressure sides going around right now, Melbourne. Middle game, speaking of which, Sydney defeated Port Adelaide by 97 points at the SCG. The Power actually up at the first change, but then the Swans really unleashed. They kicked 9 unanswered in the second and 23 of the last 28. Third time they've passed 150 on the scoreboard this season, so they've got some absolute weapons. Kerno kicked 5, so he's up to 62 for the year. He's +9 on Ben King, who's got a game in hand to come this weekend. But Coleman's looking a little more like a 2-horse race the way that it's going. Errol Goulden had 39 and a goal, and Jason Horne-Francis came off grabbing his knee after a stop and prop. It looked very ugly. Good news is Josh Carr fronted the press afterwards and said it is a hyperextension and looked a lot worse on TV, but from the testing he looks okay. So great
Thank goodness for that.
Just looking at the second quarter in that game, it's 101 to 57 disposals, 67 uncontested to 29. Wow. And then you go 16 to 6 inside 50s, nearly 1,500 metres gains versus 900. So when they stepped up, they seriously stepped up, Sydney.
In the other middle game, Geelong thumped Essendon by 67 points. Bombers didn't kick a goal in the first, had a couple in the second, but it was all one-way traffic. Bailey Smith with 38 touches. The only shining light for the Bombers, Dyson Sharp had 27, so leading there for the side. But otherwise, it was a pretty relentless result for Geelong, who are still hoping they can squeeze into the top 4 with all these contenders. They've got North and Richmond as their last 2 for the Cats. And while we're on them, the big contentious talking point during the week was the concussion saga with Jake Kolodjasny's extra contract thread. We had Andrew Dillon on in AFL Saturday. We'll hear from him again in the post-game as we replay that audio when he joined Corbin Middlemass. But the messaging there was that there is going to be an investigation. Craig Drummond's not going to be a part of it. He credited the Cats for owning up to their mistake and said that moving forward, no club will essentially be allowed to put a clause that will enable a player to waive liability for concussion moving forward.
Just really quickly, owning up to their mistake?
Yeah, I didn't buy that either.
I mean,
that's the audio I'm keen to hear again and replay for the listeners.
This is not if that's not broken by Jay Clark in the Herald Sun, they're not coming out on Thursday or Friday and saying, just letting everyone know that we've got this clause in Kolodjasny's contract that we want to let you all know. I mean, it's round 22. We thought we'd let you know before the end of the season. I mean, you can't commend them for owning up to the mistake. I'm sorry.
It's a staggering governance breach when the board and the chair have signed that off. Serious governance breach.
Can I ask a question as journos, as in Tom? Where, without wanting to locate the source of this information, where does a guy like Jay Clark get that kind of information in round 22 of this season?
It's a very good point. Whether there's, managers are often, high sources of information. That's not saying that they leak things, but,
yes,
potentially... what I want to say there, Jammo, is of course they do hand out information. Whether this was, to put something negative out there about Geelong, I'm not sure. But they'd all talk to each other, and sometimes it can be someone can say these things by mistake. It could be partners of partners who talk about these things and go, the concussion's a big issue. I've heard about a player that's got a clause in their contract that means that they're not, that the club's not liable, and it can be It'd be one of those type of things.
Because the interesting thing in this scenario is that, according to the AFLPA, his manager didn't know about this clause.
This is where my hypothetical brain is starting to roll, is Kolajasny's out of contract, right?
Yep.
And so if they're looking at options in that camp and perhaps the managers come across the information as Kolajasny's contract is expiring, that's just one hypothetical that comes to mind as we talk about it.
Certainly
or
one
perhaps
of the,
another club might be looking to recruit, you know.
But longevity in the game with a player that has multiple concussion knocks, and it's the biggest thing facing the AFL, and your board signs a waiver and agrees for that to happen, for the player to take the full responsibility to alleviate the club. Staggering.
Shouldn't it be the other way? Because the AFL talks so much about care for players.
That's the word that was front of mind for me as you were talking,
The
Tom.
players' welfare and care is number one.
Yeah.
Is it?
An organisation that's trying to get on the front foot when it comes to concussion. This is a major step back. We're running out of time in terms of the major break. We've got to have a quick pause here on ABC Sport, but we'll unpack it all as part of our post-game once the game concludes tonight. It is currently Adelaide by a point over Richmond at half-time at the Adelaide Oval. Your texts are welcome, 0437 774 774. All right, we're going to take a break on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen and get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News. Good evening, I'm Noni Edwards. One Nation's WA leader says the federal member for Canning should be concerned about his party's momentum. A new branch in the electorate, currently held by prominent Liberal Andrew Hastie, was launched by One Nation today. The party's WA leader, Rod Caddies, says Andrew Hastie should not dismiss the growing support for One Nation.
Anyone that says they're not worried, I guess you can take that for what it is, but if I was the member, I don't know worried's the right word, but I would be concerned that, there will be a change of representation in this seat.
New South Wales has confirmed its first cases of the H5 avian flu in Australian native birds. Here's Francis Du.
The state government says one bird was found dead near Narooma on the south coast, while another was found near Wentworth in western New South Wales. Both were greater crested terns. It brings the total number of confirmed cases in New South Wales to 4, after 2 migratory petrels tested positive near Port Stephens last month. Authorities say no cases have been detected in commercial poultry flocks or captive birds anywhere in Australia. They say the risk to humans remain low.
Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong says the federal government welcomes the confirmation of David Bratt as the next US ambassador to Australia. She says he'll find Australia to be a warm host and a good friend. The former Republican congressman was nominated by President Donald Trump for the position left vacant following the departure of Caroline Kennedy in 2024. Senator Wong says the government shares Mr Bratt's priorities of critical minerals, defence cooperation and partnership in the Indo-Pacific, and together they'll strengthen the US-Australian alliance in the interests of both nations. The US Senate has confirmed Todd Blanche as Attorney General, cementing President Donald Trump's former personal attorney's command of the Justice Department. Larry Buttrose reports.
The Republican-led Senate voted 50 to 49 to make Mr Blanche the second confirmed Attorney General since Mr Trump returned to the White House last year, with the stated desire to use the law enforcement agency to investigate his political enemies. Mr Blanche's confirmation could see him pursue the Trump administration's agenda even more aggressively. The vote followed a tumultuous confirmation fight that exposed deep concerns from some Republicans as well as Democrats about installing a Trump close ally atop a Justice Department that's historically prided itself on its independence from the White House.
There's no immediate comment from Ukraine over a Russian claim of a drone strike on a cargo ship in the Black Sea east of the port city of Odessa, which Moscow says was carrying weapons for the Ukrainian armed forces. The strike is the latest in a barrage of drone and missile strikes between the warring neighbours, with Russian officials saying 5 people have been injured in Ukrainian drone strikes on 2 oil refineries that caused fires at both. At the same time, Ukraine says 3 people, including a child, have been killed and 3 injured in the latest Russian aerial attacks near the capital, Kyiv. Despite the bird flu threat hanging over the industry, the poultry displays are still on at the Royal Queensland Show. Here's the ABC's Joshua McIntosh.
Organisers are pushing on despite concerns about a bird flu outbreak that's gripping the nation. Bird and poultry shows at the Royal Adelaide Show have been cancelled over concerns of that state's high caseload. But the RNA says any bird that's entered here must be disease-free and is regularly checked. While H5 bird flu is yet to be detected in Australian poultry, the rapid spread of the virus has farmers in all states on alert. As of Saturday afternoon, there are 215 confirmed detections of H5 bird flu across Australia.
Sport now, and both Geelong and Sydney have eased to comprehensive victories in the AFL, with the Cats making light work of Essendon and the Swans overpowering Port Adelaide. In wet conditions at Cardinia Park, Oliver Henry and Oliver Dempsey both kicked 4 goals as Geelong triumphed by 67 points. At the SCG, the Swans eased to a 97-point triumph, with Charlie Curnow kicking 5 goals and Power star Jason Horne-Francis unable to finish the game through injury. That came after Melbourne stunned ladder leader Fremantle, triumphing by 4 points at the MCG. And the Dolphins have secured an NRL finals berth with a stunning come-from-behind 40-32 victory over crosstown rival Brisbane at Lang Park. The Broncos surged to a 24-point lead midway through the first half, but were held tryless after the break. You're up to date now with the very latest from ABC News.
Get ready for a year of Test cricket like you've never heard before.
Stark tries again. He knocks in! Straight through it!
Grandstand cricket.
12 months, 20 Test matches, New Zealand at home over summer, the 3 most iconic overseas tours, the 150th anniversary Test under lights at the MCG.
Have a driven for 4. Beautiful stroke.
And it all begins on Thursday with Australia versus Bangladesh.
Hits it clean over the long-off boundary for 6.
Listen to every ball live from the top end. On ABC Listen, just look for the cricket button.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Riley O'Brien towards Rankin, who knocks it to space towards Peatling. Gets it away to Dawson. Back outside the 50 towards Isaac Cumming. He goes for home and puts it through the middle. Worrell gathered, gets the handball over to Neil Bullen. Tried to shrug the tackle at centre half forward. Gets it to Dawson, who looks to Cook, who marks left half forward, 40 metres out in a tough angle. Then in the first showdown as Rod Jamieson nods away. Runs around to the right and a lovely gun barrel straight drop punt. Cook gives Adelaide back-to-back goals to start the second term.
Ben Keys, attacking edge now, has a runner, releases Rochelle for the Crows and drive it towards the top of the goal square. Dawson's waiting there, juggles and marks in front. Jordan Dawson in play everywhere. Set shot to come, 10 out. Dawson comes in and kicks his 100th career goal. Bullet low and hard through the big sticks. Now he'll hand it off to Dan Curtin, who's spun in the tackle by Lafau. Turnover, Richmond pounce. The Tigers through Prestia. Kicks towards Green. He can turn in a paddock and tumble one through. Richmond off the turnover strike. And it's a single-digit game again. Heads up towards the attacking edge. Committing to the fist was keen, but he didn't make the contact. The foul stayed down. Shoots the handball. Steely Green lowers the kick and drills it to the top of the goal square. Mark taken. Set shot to come. Seth Campbell for Richmond as the heavens start to open at the Adelaide Oval. The reigning leading goal kicker, Seth Campbell, opens the angle, and Richmond get back-to-back goals late in the second term.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Hey. We started the day with an absolute ripper. We might be able to end it with a pretty decent contest as well. It's Adelaide by a point at halftime over Richmond, and they need to win this to stay in the fight for a top 4 finish. Melbourne winners earlier today alongside Geelong and Sydney. And it feels like it's going to be a 4-horse race for 4th spot, so going to be incredibly exciting on the run to September. Richmond, meanwhile, eyeing off their 4th victory of the campaign. They beat the Eagles last week. They've been up for the fight tonight and have really forced Adelaide into some errors inside 50. The Crows' ball use hasn't been great. Richmond's defence has stood up. Kyan And, in his 9th game, outmatching Taylor Walker so far tonight. Aaron Bryans and Tom Wilson with you for the call, alongside premiership players Lauren Arnell and Roy Jamieson. Forgot your name there, Jammer, for a second. It's a cold night in Adelaide as well. So had a fair bit of rain before. There's more coming, and it's going to continue for the next 7 days. On the text line, Grant in Hobart's enjoying the call, says go Blues tomorrow. So they're part of that double header where you can hear the AFLW on ABC Sport through ABC Listen. We'll have our call from 4 Eastern there, and then 7 p.m. is when we'll have the men's game as part of the doubleheader.
They should do that every Sunday. How good to finish off a weekend. 7 p.m, a game of footy.
There's going to be a few across the season in terms of doubleheaders.
Yep, love it.
Giants and Suns kickstart us at Manuka from 1, and West Coast and Collingwood tomorrow from 4. Fran as well says, wondering the discussion around Geelong, is there an onus on the player manager regarding the contract waiver issue? Do they eye it as well? And that's part of the problem, Fran, is that apparently Jake Colajazny's player manager did not know about the clause, and obviously that's a check and balance that can help when a player's potentially in a vulnerable position signing something that will lose them a lot of rights. So we'll unpack it all post-game for you. Here again from Andrew Dillon as part of AFL Saturday. Adelaide by a point, second half underway at the Adelaide Oval.
Nankervis wins the hit out, but Rankin sharks it and socket off the deck by Dawson. Out towards the centre wing, foot race is on. Brown v Keys. Keys keeps it in play. Rechko's in there. Ross, I think, is pretty keen to have it out. Taken out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. Left half forward for Adelaide.
I think the other thing to maybe add too, like if a player goes to another club, you actually don't know that type of medical record either, which I feel you should if you're acquiring.
Unless, Geelong owned up to it, of course, Jamo. Boundary throw in. Nankervis knocks it down to Taranto. Down to Ross. He's kicked a very high ball to centre wing. O'Brien in a contest there with Ralph Smith. O'Brien did well. Got a sweeping handball to Rankin, who was taken high. Play on, says the umpire. Peatling comes off his leg, goes out over the boundary line, and it's going to be a lasso free kick going the way of the Tigers. Jack Ross has it. Defensive side of centre wing, outer side of the ground.
Good to see Sam Laylor get a bit physical on Isaac Rankin.
Ross down the line. O'Brien got in the hole, but it slipped through his big mitts. He was so good in the first half. Not the best of starts in the second. Ball ricochets towards the centre square. Banks trying to rip the footy out. There's a rolling crocodile tackle. And the free kick going Adelaide's way as Neil Bullen gets him. So free kick to the Crows, defensive edge. Premiership demon, Alex Neil Bullen. Straight and hard towards the 50. Walker tries to fly and gets the fist in again. Nick Vlostone with a looping hospital handball. O'Brien cuts across with a double swat towards the 50, and Rochelle crunched in the tackle by Vlostone. Ball up to come on the paint. True centre half forward. Adelaide by a point, third term.
It's been good tonight, Vlostone.
O'Brien down to Rankin. Quick kick inside the forward 50. Walker couldn't gather. Rochelle neither. Good to see him back out in the ground. Archie with a touch. Fumble from Rankin. That's a rare one. Lawler in there. Socket back out of their forward 50 by Neil Bullen. Ends up with Dawson. His short kick to Peatling. Not the required journey. Throws it on the left boot at centre half forward. Up towards Thilthorpe. Clean bowls him. Miller did well. And his handball's blocked off by Curtin. Ball remains in dispute. Inside Adelaide's forward 50. Curtin was clean. Over the top to Keys. He tries to ride the tackle of Vloston. And that's holding the footy.
Jeez, he's been good tonight. I know you just said it, Jamo, but Nick Vlostone, he's got to be one of the most consistent Tigers in the last decade.
So game 275 for him tonight, so he passes Dale Waitman in 10th all-time for the Tigers. Another season to come, so he should reach 300. Long exit out to right half back. Lynch was the target. Flurry of Crows bodies get a hand in.
Just like small football contest acts, he saves goals with... In almost every moment he stands up. It's so impressive to watch.
They're 30 premierships too. He was just that third man up every time, wasn't he too? Tidied up, rebounded, used the football well.
Had Eddie Betts back in 2017 as the matchup. Tossed in, Jack Ross on hands and knees, shoots the handball out for Richmond to Taranto. Across the body, screws the kick through the logo. Fist comes in from Houghton, slapped forward for the Tigers by Sonsi Lafau. Pounces onto it, arches the back on Cook, shoots the handball to Lynch. He'll pull the trigger from 50, heading for home, and just getting a fingertip to it was Isaac coming on the goal line. Scores are level, 4-5, 29 apiece, 3 minutes into the third on ABC Sport.
So the man on the line will bring the ball back in for Adelaide. Coming. Goal earlier in the game. Kicks up the line. Broad gets a fist in there. Archie tries to do the same. Rode by Prestia back to Broad. This one's going back inside the forward 50. The two 44s think about going for it. Campbell wets a bounce. Then goes to Banana. That was clever. That's a goal! Seth Campbell, we know he's able to do all the tricks. And he does another one again. And Richmond, they're in front by a goal. His second. They're 5-5-35. Adelaide 4-5-29. 4 gone third term.
Start thinking, Jamo, like the opposition analysis that Richmond have done on the Crows looks to be so effective. The long down the line kick. It's not currently raining, but they're getting the job done and bringing the ball to ground and beating the Crows in the area they're really good at is when that ball hits the deck from a long down the line kick and that re-entry. The Crows players aren't ready for it. They're not setting up to defend turnover. They're setting up to score, which hasn't been the case all night. And so I think they've got to tighten up. The ball use is one thing and the contest at ground level is a whole nother. I think Richmond's ability to hold shape at ground level contest has been impressive in the first half, and that's the reason they kicked that goal. A nice finish, but the contest shape's significantly better.
Up by 6. They've had the last 5 scoring shots and 5 of the last 7 inside 50s either side of half-time. Tap down, Taranto just can't reel it in with his fingertips. Rankin shoots a handball out. Fresh Harry from Sonsi coming through. Cook got a handball clear for the Crows. Dawson with a triangle around him. Shoots it out. Rankin, right half forward. Almost so much momentum, he fell forward. Speaking of which, committing was Brown, and he had to slide over the boundary line, trying to spoil. Handball central, O'Brien knocks it back. Laird to Dawson. Cross the body, tries to get it to Peatling. Just didn't quite have the positioning, and Rechko can cut it off for Richmond in front of the Rashudo stand. Tigers by 6. 4 lead changes across the night, early in the third term on ABC Sport.
Short from the short kick. Got it at right half back. Plays on, goes long towards left half forward. Lynch is at the back of the contest, but he's able to get it out over the boundary line. Man in front was Riley O'Brien. We'll have a throw in about 80 from Richmond's goal.
Jamo, the inside 50 kicks are torching the Crows, aren't they?
Yeah. Just poor, missing the target, and or just going long, which is just playing directly into the hands. I've always thought Jaden Short, I think he's got one of the best kicks in the competition, and particularly for a small man.
Yeah, beautiful. From the boundary throw in, Taranto was the only one who wanted to keep it in. Does so. Goes by hand to Ross. He kicks a flat ball inside the 50 to Lynch. And Hawker Hahn claims he touched it, but it'll be marked just inside the 50 on a 45-degree angle right half forward.
So kicks inside 50 retained. Adelaide's at 40% tonight. Richmond's at 50.
I think this kick is the example, and it's challenging to describe on radio, but the short one to a leading player about 40 out. Crows are either not seeing the lead and kicking over the top of it, or absolutely torching the kick and not giving the lead-up player an opportunity to take a mark.
Kicked 504 goals in his career. Been involved in some big moments, Tom Lynch. He'll take his best kick of 50, gets right up close to the man on the mark. It's a nice-looking drop pump, but just away to the right. Minus score. Richmond 5-6-36. Adelaide 4-5-29. 7 gone third term on ABC Sport.
It's easy to sit up here and do that. I think you called it well. It's like just too close, and you, man on the mark, can't move until the umpire play on. And they try and get that extra little out to the right and just kick the kick.
Hawker Hahn plays on. Straight line drive towards the centre square. Couple of fists come in. Taylor knocks it out to Dawson. Run down by Taranto. Turnover. Rechko trying to break free. They've got the overlap. He gets through the tackle of Curtin. And the kick is well weighted out towards Campbell in the right forward pocket. Excellent delivery from Sam Grill, who sizzles it towards the light tower. Set shot to come. 40 from home. Tight to the right.
Was it Seth Campbell that did the backflip after a goal last year?
It was. That was one of the moments of the season.
Has he only done it once?
Oh, look, Arrow would be the man to ask, but that was a special moment.
I can't remember him doing it again.
Yeah, right.
I don't think he'll be doing it tonight, given the conditions either. You might end up doing knee.
Do it. I think he should. Like, if he kicks this off, he should do it.
He's their reigning leading goal kicker, Seth Campbell, looking for his third on the evening. It's a tough task. Campbell heads for home and makes it look so easy. 3 for Seth Campbell. Richmond's up by 13 in the third term. 6-6-42. Adelaide 4-5-29. 8 played so far in this quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, and the knees will be wobbling at the Adelaide Oval.
And you as a Richmond supporter, 21-year-old Seth Campbell, and where is he from?
Tasmania. There's 3 of them out there tonight.
Yes, there
that
is.
being said, context of that. So Sam Banks and Toby Nankervis are probably going to be the targets given their contracts. But Campbell's actually...
you wouldn't know, would you?
Campbell's signed till 2029. So I think he's going to stay.
So shout on the Adelaide runner. Both runners have gone out after this goal, and the Crows runner straight to the mids, and Jordan Dawson in particular. And now to Zach Taylor. You imagine his instruction is, as a high half forward, Zach, get in, help us around contest. Don't just sit forward of the ball. We need more numbers around contest, because Richmond at 12-9 contested possession at the start of this third.
13-point lead for the Tigers. Sam Berry roves well and gets the clearance for Adelaide, sends it inside the forward 50. Ludovic was behind, brought it to ground, flicked it back to Thilthorpe, to Ben Keys, snaps around the body, looking for Rochelle in the pocket. Hands to it. Did it go out over the behind line? It did in the end. Doing well there was Tom Brown. Rushed it through for a minor score. It's 4-6-30. The Crows. Richmond 6-6-42. 10 gone, third term.
Adelaide's first score since before time on in the second quarter. Richmond have kicked the last 4 goals. Still a wet weather affair at the Adelaide Oval, but the rain's a little lighter than it was in the second term. Brown pounds it hard and long. He's looking for Lafau off hands. Ralph Smith clean. Shoots the handball to Ross. Right half back for the Tigers, running out of room. Rechko set upon Keys. Spins him down. They get out of dodge. Long kick. Comes up to centre half back for the Tigers. Ryan didn't get low enough. Over 200 centimetres. Didn't even want to try. Annan gets the footy instead. Uses Brown to Ryan. Hospital handle to Campbell. Well scouted by Dowling, who engulfs him with the tackle. Ball up to come just outside 50 for Adelaide.
Just anticipated the handball there and just met head on.
Quick ball up. O'Brien took Ryan out of the contest. Dowling had the footy towards Curtin. Rankin, Hawkahano. He tried to be a little too clever there. It went 3 metres. Rove there by Rechko. Gets the handball away. Jack Ross for the Tigers. Out towards Short. Good strong grab in front of Keys. Brings him to ground in the contest.
Mentioned the Crows runner going to Jordan Dawson. He's now the mid that's dropped back as a spare. Rankin's been doing it for a lot of the game, and now I think what that does is free Rankin up to get forward of the footy and make his impact where he fits best, which is in the front half. And Dawson a heavy spare now for the Crows.
The irony of that too, it's Dan Jackson, ex-Richmond player.
Sam Grill down the line up towards right half forward. Campbell, the goal kicker. He goes Rover. That was clever from Lawler to Lynch. Lynch sells some candy, goes for home, misses. We say that too often about Big Tommy. Oh, that would have been a great team goal, and it would have hurt the Crows. 6-7-43 the Tigers. Adelaide 4-6-30, 12 gone, third term.
In these conditions too, the way Richmond are playing, still 12 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Adelaide don't even look like scoring.
Worrell to Dawson to Rankin. Right back pocket for the Crows right now. Isaac Rankin looks a little lost what to do next. Will play on, flirt with the boundary line and tightrope his kick up towards the benches. Broadcast side. Thilthorpe was there in the pack. Hands come down. And the kick thumped forward by Ludovic. They might do well here. Keys was clean on the half volley. He releases Archie. Empty 50. Callum Archie. My goodness. That is a superb finish. Long-range strike from the Premiership line. Adelaide get one back. It is the Tigers by 7. 12 played third term. 6-7-43. Plays 5-6-36. Rod Jamison, Lauren Arnell, your experts on ABC Sport.
It's the goal that Adelaide really needed, didn't they? They need some sort of lift to get going.
And that's the style of footy they're usually really good at, which is what I've tried to describe a bit earlier, that long down the line kick, win it at contest, keep the ball alive and get out the back. And they did that exceptionally well on that occasion, and it looks like the rain, boys, is starting to pick up again. I think if they get their contest shape right, the Crows, things will fall their way.
It's 5 apiece inside 50s in this quarter too. Positive out of that, Richmond has scored 2 goal 3. Adelaide was struggling to do so. 11.5 minutes remaining, 7 points, the lead to Richmond.
Ryan in the ruck, up against Thilthorpe. Shuffling forward for Adelaide, but fell out the back to Ross. Now to Ryan, the big ruckman goes inside the forward 50. It's pelting down again at Adelaide Oval. Out in the scoreboard pocket. Very wet coming. Watches that go out over the boundary line. So we'll have a throw in front of the scoreboard.
Told my youngest daughter to wear a jacket. I hope she has. But Tom, you know what? She probably hasn't.
How old is she, Gemmo?
She's almost 16.
So she's probably not listening either.
No, doesn't at all.
I think you need the reverse psychology at that age, Gemmo. Yeah. Boundary thrown. It was a short one. Dowling came off the line. Over to Thilthorpe, to Berry, to Curtin. He just slaps it on that big left boot of his out towards the wing, and it's out of bounds on the full. So over the head of Walker, Annan gets a free kick. I had a Richmond friend text me, and he said if you squint enough, you can see Tommy Stewart and Kai Annan, just with the long hair and the way he's been intercept marking.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Tonight, that is fair.
Yeah,
I was going to say, shout out, this was probably more your area, Jamo, but Alan Edwards, former Tiger, Collingwood player. Kick up to the right forward pocket off that stoppage, back inside 50, and a blocking free kick going Richmond's way. Kept out of the drop. Tom Lynch will get the set shot to come. 30 from home. Remember Alan Edwards much, Jamo?
Alan Edwards.
So it's very similar hair. Didn't quite have the moustache, but long blonde locks. Played for the Pies and Fitzroy for a bit. Half forward. 70s.
70s.
That was your era, right?
Oh, wow. Low blow.
You were the only person I could ask in the box who was around that time frame. Tom Lynch to the jeers of the frustrated crowd. Come in. Lynch heads for home. Misses to the right. Tigers by 8. 15 played, third turn.
3 shots in this quarter, 3 behinds. The big fella.
What did he kick in that game against Carlton earlier this year? 2-7 or something?
Yeah, I reckon he had 6 behinds or 7 behinds before he kicked his first goal.
Crows struggling to bring it out of defence again. Sent back in by Ross. Lafau had 3 to beat. And it was going to make it very difficult. Strong grab from Dawson, especially in these conditions. Switches on to Keane. Off to Worrell. Pressure there from Houghton. Gets his kick away towards the wing. Out the back is Vlosten. Rare fumble from him. Hands and knees was short, but his handball is awry, and Neil Bullen gets it to Zach Taylor. He kicks down the line. There's no Crows there, and it's just... Oh, Annan just was hoping that was going to get out over the boundary line, and he did well in the end. Campbell kicks down the line, kicks it straight towards Oscar Ryan, who dropped the mark. Ball in dispute. Tough conditions out there. Campbell, hands and knees, Taylor, still in dispute. Neil Bullen gets the handball off to Oscar Ryan, who goes inside the forward 50 for Adelaide. Thilthorpe gets the front spot, couldn't complete the mark. Berry tried to rove. Off his hands and his boot. Pile of players going in there. Taranto gets it out to Jack Ross.
Clearing kick finally comes down the line. Lynch one-on-one battling with Keane. Forced to put a fist in the end and knocks it towards the boundary line to claim the territory. Richmond by 8. It is a full-blown wet weather affair. We are underwater at the Adelaide Oval. The hill is still standing strong.
Riley Thilthorpe is one of only 5 players in the Adelaide side that haven't taken a mark tonight.
After a career-high 5 goals in the 10 coaches' votes when he dominated Essendon last week. Speaking of which, tossed in, Thilthorpe taps it down, ricochets off a few bootlaces, and Braden Cook strikes, heads towards the 50, didn't really favour Ludovic, caught behind, but it's put down in the end by Miller. Ludovic gathers, tackled, ball pops out, play continues, and escorted over the line is Annand by Taylor Walker. Tigers players ask a couple of questions about holding the ball there that wasn't received, and in the end it's going to be tossed into play 25 out.
Those are the moments where, Jamo, you feel that the Crows are missing Darcy Fogarty, like that front position, the dump kick 1v1. Ludovic's second game, he's been caught behind against Miller a number of times.
It's going to be a free kick in the ruck contest. Thilthorpe with his hands in the back of Ryan. A miserable night for Riley Thilthorpe. Short to short, right half back.
Look at that kick.
Big long ball towards Tom Lynch. Got one hand to it. Keane brought it to ground. Follows up. So too does Laird. His quick kick up towards Cook. It was touched out over the boundary line. 2.15's in there. Short and Cook. Boundary thrown left half forward for the Crows.
Shout out to Ralph on the text line 0437 774 774. Listening to the call on the balcony of our house in a little mountainside village in Western Serbia. Go Richmond.
Oh, boy.
How'd you find yourself there, Ralph?
Tell us about the view.
Tossed in, Samson Ryan almost got falconed up against Riley Thilthorpe. A couple of fists come in, not a lot of meterage. Tim Taranto jams it forward, threw it on the boot, and the hat kick works. Hits Ralph Smith on the logo. Hugo fresh off a career best game, and they knocked off the Eagles last week. He's out of contract. Ralph Smith heads towards the 50. Lynch committed early at the back door. Chasing it well was Worrell. Shoots the handball back for the Crows to Cumming. It gets thicker and thicker, the rain. Up and under kick. Lynch tried to take the mark. Bounced off him. Follows up. Hands it back. Across the body. Kick inside 50 for the Tigers. Campbell caught behind Keane. Didn't get the bounce he wanted. Peatling dumps it out of there. Not going to work. Samson Ryan was sitting back. Cuts it off for Richmond. Looks to the corridor. Had to place his kick. It was precise. Glostone takes it just wide of the centre circle, looking to go inside 50. The ball will be a bar of soap right now if anyone wants to try and pluck it. He'll sky it inside. Tom Lynch has a crack, 3 to beat, throws the fist in the end as many Tigers stayed down, but Tim Taranto couldn't get low enough to gather. Couple of Crows set upon, and we'll get a ball up 45 out inside 50. Richmond by 8.
I can't believe you think I would know Alan Edwards from the 70s.
Ball up.
How many games did he play?
Quick kick towards the wing. Floston with a big spoil over the top of Walker.
He looks like Ronnie Wiggermouth.
Cook off to Berry. A long kick forward. Foot race is on. Oh, that was a brilliant effort, but couldn't quite complete the mark. Good short. Did well to get it to a teammate. Floston's under pressure. Oh, the Tigers are under pressure. Strong tackle on Anand.
Who was that went back and almost took the chest mark?
I think it was short.
Well done to control the footy.
He's clever from the ruck contest. Ross gathers the footy. Gets it to a teammate who throws it on the boot. This is a dangerous ball towards centre half back. Is it going the journey? Doesn't matter. Fisted down. Oh, that was clean and clever. Quick kick out of defence as the umpire calling a throw. So, incorrect disposal. Paul Kahan's going to win the free kick. So a free kick against Steely Green.
It's going to be interesting here, Tom and Loz as well. He's just 55 out, 60 out from the kick. Really condensed forward line. Richmond have pressed back. Where's this kick going?
Might back himself in good conditions, but he's going to set this one up towards the top of the goal square. Walker flies. Has anyone touched that? Oh, just right on the last line of defence in Clark. Actually had the journey there, Hawker Hahn. Minus score in the end. 5-7-37. Richmond 6-8-44 into time on.
Trading behinds at the moment. This wet game at the Adelaide Oval. Jamo, he's a bit of a journeyman, Alan Edwards, so 66 for Richmond was his best, but a couple of stints with Collingwood and Fitzroy, very low numbers. Just got over the 100 mark total.
Oh, you got there?
Out to the eastern side. Pack mark taken by Ryan, and Thilthorpe may have been caught high in the process. He's dropped down low, asking the question of the umpire, but was paid to Big Samson. Hasn't quite got the hair of his namesake. He's at right half back in front of the Williams stand. And kicks into Thilthorpe in the end. Called to play on. He closed the gap. Tackle later. Samson Ryan gathers. No free kick again. The crowd's going to riot soon. Banks heads back to Miller. Vostone heaves it with a high spiral, launching it towards half forward. Dawson commits. Bounced off his chest. Richmond have numbers on the chase. Ball's ricocheted. 30 out. Inside 50 for the Tigers. Sliding across. Green knocks it towards Houghton. Puts his head over the footy. Shoots the handball to Taranto. It's just too slippery. Pops out. Cutting across. Couple of tackles laid. And a whistle. We will get a ball up as Judson Clark is ripped off the deck. We're 20 out. Left forward pocket for Richmond. Lead is 7 points late in the third.
Important time here for Adelaide. Dowling with the clearing kick, 2-on-1, and then dropped the mark. It's gone off the boot there of Taylor Walker.
Oh, he's called it.
He's trying to argue that it's his kick, but to me, so Anand wants it, and the umpires are going to confer here. Just check this one.
They're both calling each other bluff here, aren't they? So Taylor Walker wants it.
So Walker's getting in there in the discussion. He's just reminding them that Richmond are setting themselves back up in defence, and I'm going to say it's just out over the boundary line and a throw-in. Not sure how that happens.
That's the common sense decision, isn't it?
I think so.
There was no actual disposal there. It's just bounced off a couple of boots.
Totally agree. They just haven't been officiating that way. Anyway, boundary throw-in. Archie snaps it round the body. That's clear-cut last touch disposal. That goes straight out of bounds. Broad will bring it back for the Tigers. They've got a 7-point lead in this third term. He's at left half back.
For the last 5 goals, Richmond really testing Adelaide tonight. They dropped this. Top four's pretty much gone for them. 4-on-4 on the ball, drop down the line and a whistle for a hold. Free kick going Nankervis's way against O'Brien. It's just forward of centre wing. Directing traffic is the skipper. Leans back on the kick. Nankervis towards the 50. Double fist comes from Worrell. He thumps it back where it came from. Clean bounce for Rochelle. He's knocked off his kick down the line. It will be downfield. Taylor Walker can take it forward the logo.
Now there's 4 Richmond players, so he's going to sit and wait.
Got back tremendously fast to zone off,
across the middle.
Texan will look on the instep 45. Sam Berry just inside the square. Wants to complete the switch as he heads through the centre circle to Michael Annie. They've got options in the left forward pocket if they can move this well. Oscar Ryan at left half forward. Had the lead of Cook. It didn't go for it.
They're going to run forward, though. Everyone's just stopped.
Crowd is losing their marbles tonight. Oscar Ryan, bullet pass. 20 from home. Fist comes in on Rochelle. Taylor couldn't gather. Trying to barge through. Peatling tackled. Ball shoots out. No whistle. Thrusting handball from Brown for Richmond. It'll work. Ralph Smith gets it out of defensive 50, but Adelaide's waiting. Oscar Ryan to Jordan Dawson. Riley O'Brien tried to commit to the drop and didn't really run straight towards the ball there. Campbell sticks an arm in. Clearing kick for Richmond. It tumbles back to the eastern side, and again, Adelaide will have the numbers.
Keane finds Ryan. Defensive side of centre wing. Outer side of the ground.
I think they are missing Fogarty, to be honest, guys.
Yep.
The Crows. Thilthorpe's had a big run in the ruck, so he's on the bench. And if Tex wins a footy on a wing, there's not much to go to. Ludowick's so young.
Michael Annie goes inside the forward 50, rows by Isaac Rankin. And if you need something special, listen to the roar for Rankin. They're back to within a point through their superstar, 6-7-43. Richmond 6-8-44, 25 and a half gone 13.
Contest shape off hands at ground level. Jamo, that's the recipe tonight. And just freeing up Rankin, as we said before. Dawson's played a heavy role for most of this quarter as the spare defender at coming out of the midfield and just sitting a kick behind the ball to support the backs. But, yeah, Rankin's so classy, and that's where they're going to need him doing his damage if they're going to win tonight.
Another high kick for Adelaide coming in, and Anand got his hand to it, spoiled forward, and just all class. Isaac Rankin, all class to be able to come through, get through 2 opponents and be clean in these conditions.
He is the missing piece come September. Isaac Rankin, that this midfield has been crying out for. Already with 23 touches tonight, 6 clearances. Tossed up 1-point game. Nankervis down. Peatling on the eastern side comes in off the wing, gathers, got it to Rankin. Short chip kick under duress. Berry across the body. Rochelle caught behind the pack. Neil Bullen does enough to knock it wide. Braden Cook in his showdown spot. Under a bit of pressure. Tackled, spun. Short really put him in the washing machine. Handball towards the boundary line, and it will be a lasso free kick going the Tigers' way. Timmy Taranto back towards the logo. Lafau with 2 to beat. Got a fist in to knock it to the boundary line. It'll be tossed in the sheer stand. Richmond by a point, close to 3/4 time.
Pryor takes his time, just making sure the 2 ruck are there.
5 points to Richmond quarter time, 1 point to Adelaide half time. Similar margin, 3/4 time.
Clean from O'Brien to Cook towards Peatling. His kick was smothered. Short gathers. Wrapped up by Keys. Dropped the footy, holding the ball. Crows are keen to take the advantage. Rankin did it. Look for the handball and Hawker-Hahn. A strong contest in there. Doing well with the Tigers, but Rankin goes again. Long kick towards Archie. He's got the sit. Bit of front-on contact from Brown. They'll pay it every time.
That's experienced footy from Cal Archie, and a nice kick inside to him that needed to be a long kick to advantage, and Archie knew that the contact was coming from Brown, and all he had to do was really make a play at the footy. Free kick every day of the week.
It is a soft free, though, in terms of, isn't the contest?
It's soft, but it's by the letter of the law. It's definitely a free kick. Brown couldn't see the footy.
So 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. He kicked one from 50 from this angle earlier in the quarter. Kalachi pumps it through. Back-to-back goals for the Crows. It's 3 in a row, in fact. Archie has 2 of them, and they're back in front. 7-7-49. Richmond 6-8-44, 28 gone 13.
Gotta love that passion. Jamo Archie's celebration. It's obviously his first year at the footy club, but the way that he fires up this crowd now, he knows how important that goal is. And he's brought the crowd into the game all over again when, to be fair, it's been a pretty dull night from that perspective.
It's been an incredibly interrupted season, Calamarchi, wasn't it, too? That state game, they spoke about how it was too quick a game for that part of the season, and he's had hamstring problems ever since. But so valuable for Brisbane in their premiership years, but to come to Adelaide now and show the class, just another dangerous player up forward.
Just his 6th game tonight for this campaign, but they've been preaching all year how important he is as a recruit, and he's showed it over the last few weeks. O'Brien taps it down on the hop. Ross got it towards Nankervis, tumbles a kick forward. Sonsi tries to commit. Coming the other way was Dowling. Ball ricochets half forward for Richmond. They're all fighting for it right now. And it will be a ball up just outside the centre square.
13-7 clearances in favour of Adelaide this quarter.
O'Brien down straight to Archie. Rode the bump there from Judson Clark. Diving in Nankervis. O'Brien wraps him up. 5 lead changes tonight. Feels like it's going to be another thriller at the Adelaide Oval. Been spoilt this season with them. Ralph, who was in Serbia, says, loving the views of surrounding villages and the main highway to Belgrade. There you go, Jamo. Painting the picture for you.
Oh, nice.
Out of the stoppage, Curtin tackled by Nankervis. It was a hard landing, but he got a handball clear as he's flung it towards the benches. Broad cuts it off for Richmond. Hospital handball, which Judson Clark turned into immediate danger. Billy Dowling gets him over the line. It'll be tossed in just behind left half forward for the Tigers. Cannot believe Judson Clark's missed 2 years of footy. He's slotted right back into the 23.
It's great to see. Can they find something here, Richmond? Crows have been on top. Good tackle, Archie. Ross gets a handball forward. That was clever. And then Taranto was legged. No free kick from the umpire. Judson Clark, your man. He steps inside the forward 50 after the steal. That was like basketball, that. Intercepted. Fast break. Couldn't complete the goal. Way to the right. Minus score. Richmond 6-9-45. Adelaide 7-7-49. 30 minutes gone.
It's Taj Houghton with the knock-on too, which was pretty special play. He looks to be a superstar.
Jordan Dawson on the kicking, looking for Walker. It's a wet night. Fist came in. He couldn't quite control it. He's happy to let it roll over as he's pushed over the boundary line by Taranto. So it's Adelaide by 4. Late in the third term. Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamieson, your experts tonight. The text line 0437 774 774. Tossed in.
Oh, not very shallow.
Maybe the weather's impacting it there. Nankervis took it away from O'Brien, pinballed off a couple of bodies, and Berry just launches a helicopter back towards the broadcast wing, and up against Taylor Walker. Neither could get to the drop. Surging by was Neil Bullen. Coming the other way with a sliding stop was Jaden Short, but it came off his shin. Last disposal.
Alex Neil-Bullen's done that several times. He assesses the situation very quickly.
Neil Bullen inside 50. Richmond had the numbers, but Broad spoiled Vlostone in the end, and it will be a boundary throw in just outside 50.
I like the fast play from Neil Bullen. He read it well, like you said, Jamo, but also only 27 seconds left in this third quarter. The quick play allows for another stoppage and an opportunity to score.
All right, who's running through here?
Boundary throw in. Rankin tried. O'Brien knocks it forward. Dowling and Archie. See that out over the boundary line. Got a bit of distance covered though, so about 40 from home for the Crows. Right half forward. Still time.
Let's get it over the back here, Adelaide, rather than forward. That's where the Richmond defence will anticipate it go. Change it up.
Short throw in. Ruckman go at it. Rankin was one of those.
Hit it to Rankin.
Shelley. Brown gets a quick kick away. Lands in the lap of Laird. Still got time. It's probably beyond his range, I think. He's going to set it up. Opportunity here for Adelaide. Walker! Almost took a massive hanger. Siren sounds. He did everything but take the mark. Big Tex. In these conditions, it would have been special. Well, we've got a tight contest. Tighter than we thought. Adelaide, they were staring down the barrel for a moment, down 13 points at one stage per kick. The final 3 goals of the quarter to lead it 7-7-49, Richmond 6-9-45.
Plenty at stake tonight as Adelaide tries to hold on to its chance for a top 4 finish. And Richmond, how big this would be if they could knock off a true contender and pick up their 4th win of the season. Goals so far tonight. 2 to Archie and Walker, singles to Cook, Rankin and Cumming. For the Tigers, 3 to Campbell, 2 to Lafau and 1 to Steely Green. Do not go anywhere. Massive ramifications for this result tonight. Final quarter coming your way next on ABC Local Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
This August, Science Week is blooming around the ABC.
We're celebrating Australia's wildflowers.
Vote now. Get involved at abc.net.au/science.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
What's going back inside the forward 50 to 244s. Think about going for it. Campbell waits a bounce. Then goes the banana. That was clever. That's a goal. Seth Campbell, we know he's able to do all the tricks. And he does another one again. And Richmond, they're in front by a goal. His second.
Knocks it out to Dawson. Run down by Taranto. Turnover. Rechko trying to break free. They've got the overlap. He gets through the tackle to Curtin. And the kick is well weighted out towards Campbell in the right forward pocket. Excellent delivery from Sam Grill, who sizzles it towards the light tower. He's their reigning leading goal kicker, Seth Campbell, looking for his third on the evening. It's a tough task. Campbell heads for home and makes it look so easy. 3 for Seth Campbell. Richmond's up by 13 in the third term. Kick pumped forward by Ludovic. They might do well here. Keys was clean on the half volley. Releases Archie. Empty 50. Callum Archie. My goodness. That is a superb finish. Long range strike from the Premiership line. Adelaide get one back. It is the Tigers by 7.
Michael Annie goes inside the forward 50, rows by Isaac Rankin, and if you need something special, listen to the roar for Rankin. They're back to within a point through their superstar. Doing well with the Tigers, but Rankin goes again. Long kick towards Archie. He's got the sit. Bit of front on contact from Brown. They'll pay it every time. Cal Archie pumps it through. Back-to-back goals for the Crows, and 3 in a row, in fact. Archie has 2 of them, and they're back in front.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
There's just something about Adelaide and Richmond. The Tigers have won 3 of the last 4 against Adelaide at this ground. Around 13 of 2024, the 17th place Richmond knocked off the second place Crows. In 2023, round 2, Richmond upset them as well. Adelaide ended up missing finals by a win that year. Could Richmond do something special tonight and potentially cost Adelaide a top 4 spot? It is the Crows by 4 at the final change. Rod Jamison, Lauren Arnell, your experts tonight. We've seen a interesting game of footy in the wet, team.
Just inevitably, the numbers, I think it's just outweighing Richmond at the moment. So when you look at Rankin, Dawson leading the way, Jack Ross is the leader for Richmond, but then it goes Berry, Peatling and then Miller. So it's sort of the spattering of midfield for Richmond, but more defence as opposed to the midfield of Adelaide is starting to get more of the football. And then look at the pressure. Adelaide, 26 tackles to 12 in that quarter, leading the way 43 to 29. So if it continues to pan on that way, I just think the weight of numbers and the amount of quality that's going to get the football, it'll be too hard to defend for Richmond. But I'm not writing them off for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think tactically the Crows showed the way to win in that third quarter. It wasn't pretty football, but having Dawson behind the ball to support their defenders, with particularly with ball lays out tonight, is a missing piece. And I think Fogarty at the other end is missing as well, because those long down the line contests, they've lacked shape. They haven't been able to drive from it. With a young fella like Archie Ludovic, I think it's a great opportunity for him to play a game like this tonight, but I don't think he's in their finals team once Fogarty's fit. And what we saw in that first patch of the third is Thilthorpe having to ruck for far too long, getting beaten by Samson Ryan around the ground. And I think once Riley O'Brien came back on the ground, Thilthorpe had a rest. Dawson's behind the ball and Rankin's more of that aggressive attacking mid in the front half. I think if they hold that shape and O'Brien rucks as much as possible in this last quarter, you expect the Crows to shore it up. I don't think it's going to be a huge win, but I do think that's the way to win this game of football.
They would have liked the percentage boost given the contenders around them, but at this stage, just bank the 4 when you've got Fremantle to come in 6 days. It's a big night for the Adelaide Crows, given Melbourne won earlier today, Geelong and Sydney as well. So the contenders for the double chance are thick and thin.
I think we do need to give credit to Richmond as well. We've spoken a lot about the Crows because we're here at Adelaide Oval, but they've been fantastic. And if Tom Lynch kicks one of his 3 shots in that third quarter, it could be a different story. Unfortunately, I haven't kicked a goal since the 8-minute mark of that third quarter, so the momentum in Adelaide's favour, but Richmond have shown enormous fight as.
It's been an interesting night of footy. The home crowd probably would have wanted it a little bit more one way, but we've set up a thrilling finish on ABC Sport. Don't forget all the fallout tomorrow, AFL Sunday from midday to kickstart a triple header of footy, and there's a 4th game as well if you jump on ABC Listen from 4 p.m. The AFLW gets underway as part of a double header between St Kilda and Carlton, so hit the AFLW button for that. 0437 774 774 to get in touch tonight. Gordon from Nollamara. Love the call. Old-fashioned wet weather footy. And Rick in Margaret River. Who would have thought? Exciting game tonight.
Gorgeous place.
Nankervis taps it down, bounces off Berry, comes back to him, tries to shoot the handball to Lawler, who's on ball to start. Hasn't seen a lot of it lately. Dawson rips it away, hands and knees, through a kick that rolled about 2 metres to Curtin. He pushed Taranto over without the footy. Free kick, Richmond.
It's been incredibly quiet all night, hasn't it?
When it hasn't been Adelaide's way, it's pretty much 95-5 tonight in terms of the crowd split. Ben Miller up to right half forward, kicks a little long, trying to get it out towards Rechko. Cook was alongside him, coming the other way. Green knocks it over the boundary line, tossed in right half forward.
Dawson's parked himself again as the spare defender coming out of the midfield. Safety and security from the skipper.
The crowd's flatness has sort of echoed how the way the Crows have played almost.
So Boston almost loose as well. Miller.
Boundary throw in. Drove by Rankin. He's been a star tonight. Quickly around the body. Finds Archie. He's been good too. The 2 goals. Short holds him up on the mark. Defensive side of centre wing. Goes up towards right half forward. Thilthorpe trying to take a mark. Miller brings it to ground. Vlosten with the soccer kick back. They're clean enough, it'll work. Brown at right half back. It's a drop punt down the line. 1-on-1 contest towards Cumming. And it's just out over the top. Untouched. So a lasso free kick out in the full. It's the official word.
We've had it here in South Australia for a number of years, and it works well. Do you feel it works well? Good rule.
Yes, NFL is the prime example for a lot of things that work, and the 25-metre penalty is the next one that needs to come in. Cal Archie steps through the centre wing, heads up to left half forward. Walker uses the body on Annan, takes the mark, and Annan tries to knock it out of his hands. It'll be 50. Oh, he's had the veterans number all night, but that is a brain fade from the rookie. And the Texan will be marched close to the goal square for a chance to kick his 3rd.
Yeah, absolute brain fade, wasn't it too? Although maybe Taylor contributed to it, but he didn't need to push him.
Veteran move, that.
Yeah. I don't agree with you about the 25 metres. Again, you'll find again that players will just be happy to give it up until they can set up behind the footy.
I feel like there's some rules that 50 just feels too harsh.
Yeah,
and that's why I like it.
I'd agree with that.
Taylor Walker comes in from 10. Adelaide with the hot start in the final term. Margin pushes out to 10. Tex has 3 and 707 in his career as he ties Dick Lee for 26th all-time. 8-7-55, plays 6-9-45. Replayed opening term on opening 3 minutes of the final term on ABC Sport.
There's smarter footy from Adelaide again. I think for a large part of the night, Taylor Walker hasn't had the footy on his terms coming inside 50, and his direct opponent, Kyle Anand, has taken 8 marks now, and a lot of that is because he's got the 8-centimetre height difference, and a lot of the footy coming into Tex has been pressured high balls, which doesn't suit him. So kicking to his advantage up on a lead and then using his veteran status to suck the 50-metre penalty is much smarter football overall from Adelaide.
They're actually having a chat together down there.
I think Walker might be reminding him, I'm the veteran. It's cleverly done. So a free kick from the ruck contest. Goes the way of Toby Nankervis. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Keane got a bite of the cherry. Brought to ground, socket off the deck by Dawson, partially smothered. It's a game of soccer. It's going backwards and forwards. Oh, risky from Cook. Then another risky kick was partially smothered. Ball in dispute just outside the 50 for Richmond. Pack forms will have a ball up. Really generous 50 there for Taylor Walker, I reckon. As well, marched him up to the goal square.
And put him right in front.
That's right. Was on the ankle to start with. Good tackle there by Berry, gathered by Rankin clean in these conditions. Off to Cook at left half back. A high ball looking for a teammate in Rochelle. Brown knocks it out over the boundary line. Nursed over in the end there by Rechko. And we'll have a ball up right half forward for the Tigers. They trail by 10 points. Crows have kicked the last 4 goals of the match.
Gee, that wind is lifted and the rain is getting heavier again. Tossed into play. Good throw considering the conditions. O'Brien double tap down looking for Berry, just a tad wide. It rolls back where it came from. Love this text from Phil in Victoria on 0437 774 774. He says it's ironic Richmond are a chance to win this game, and Nathan Burke, who's been commentating most of them all year and suffering through, won't be there if they do.
Love you, Berkey. Good man.
He's been suffering all year. Knows the Tigers in and out. Tossed in, tapped down. Nankervis looking for Prestia. Just too much momentum. Ran past the footy. Cook. Tozer kick to Rankin. Underground handball was so crisp in traffic. Links up with Curtin. Rankin down the line. The kick wasn't as good. Phil Foot caught behind. A bit of a shove and a collision as Miller gets hit high in the process.
It was an unlucky one. Kalarchi came through in the contest and collected Miller in the head. Very, very accidental.
Just the conditions. He just kept sliding into the approaching player. Kick down the line for Richmond. Hits the deck. Keane tried to fist it off the ground. It ricocheted back to Houghton, though. Gets it to Rechko. Richmond inside 50. Taranto nearly took the slip catch. Goes back. Tackle. Dropped it. No whistle. Eventually there is. Isaac Cumming gets him for holding the ball. Joseph O'Brien in his 12th game hands the free kick to Adelaide, who are currently up by 10 in the final term 5 play.
Cumming plays on after the good tackle. Potentially goal-saving tackle. Walker brings it to the front. Rechko runs over the top. Walker again off to Cook. Gets past Prestia for the moment. Knocked out of his hands out over the boundary line. Throw it. Right half forward for Richmond.
Gordon Dawson coming to the bench.
Haven't kicked a goal since the 8-minute mark of that third term. The Tigers led by 13 points at that stage. It's been all Adelaide since then. From the boundary throw in, Paul Kahan grabs the footy, gets it off to Berry. Puts it on the left boot towards Keys. Gets 2 hands to it. Walker does the roving. Throws it on that left boot without really looking. Rochelle gets a nice bounce. Hairball over the top to Keys. He can go for the dribbling goal towards the goal square. Taylor's there. Watches it get rushed through there by Clark. Another minor score to the Crows there. 8-8-56. Richmond 6-9-45. 7 gone. Final term for ABC Sport.
Dave on the text line in Sydney says, how can Adelaide defeat the Swans at the SCG and then struggle to beat Richmond at home?
Well, it's weird how it lands sometimes.
Footy's quite funny like that.
Few out as well. Nankervis is one we haven't spoken about. He's had a ripping season and out for this game.
Banks to Miller. Hard and long up towards the broadcast wing. Off hand. Steely Green tries to sidestep Oscar Ryan and ends up walking it over.
For Richmond supporters wondering what the hell I'm talking about, I'm referencing Luke Nankervis from the Crows.
Yes.
And with Jordan Dawson on the bench, Kalarchi's now the spare for Adelaide, which will be very important in the next few minutes while Dawson gets a rest.
Lauren Arnell there alongside Rod Jamieson tonight. Tight game, Adelaide Oval. Nankervis taps it down a little too hard again as it rolls back over the boundary line. Drew, Bob, Reese and Terry are at the Great Lakes trying to catch a fish. It must be so cold out there. Loving the call. Richmond are a great chance and cannot wait for the Devils to enter the league.
Led by Ken Hinkley. Down there.
Nigel Lappin, another great acquisition.
Head of development.
Yep.
Do you go fishing at 9:40 at night, gentlemen?
Yeah, well, normally go fishing every year. Fished in Canada. I've done the ice fishing before.
How'd you go?
Didn't catch anything. But had a beer with the heater going.
You sat in a boat?
No, in the little igloo, in the little hut.
Not even in a boat?
You know, like grumpy old men.
Boundary throw in, cleverly socket off the deck by Cook, gets it inside the 50. Ludovic tries hard. Taylor with a boot in there. Ball in dispute. Taylor lays a strong tackle. Have a ball up at centre half forward for Adelaide.
Cut a hole in the ice. Sit there and just hope a fish goes past.
Nankervis takes it out of the ruck. bucketing down there at Adelaide Oval. Lynch with the front spot, brings it to ground. Hoping Rechko can go the sock up. Strong tackle there from Lafau to Houghton. Looks for a target inside the forward 50s. Hit him on the chest.
Great kick.
That was genius. Taken by Ralph Smith in the right forward pocket.
Kick from Tyler Sonzi. Under pressure, at speed. With a lead out the back from Ralph Smith. There's probably no more important finish tonight than this one.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Lafau's tackle too.
Sonzi got it in. Ralph Smith, this would take a great kick. Right up against the boundary. Goes the banana, and talking about great kicks. Hello, Hugo. Oh, wreck it, Ralph Smith. Puts Richmond back into it. 7-9-51. Adelaide 8-8-56. 10 gone, final term.
How good. That is class in these conditions too. Oh. And went through post high. Great work. Just a kick. Wasn't it there initially
Sonzi.
Out front? Yeah. The tackle from Lafau to win the footy back. A couple of good pieces of passage, pieces of play there by Richmond.
There's a lot of heart tonight, regardless of the result.
It's all you can ask for, isn't it? And it may get them to a win tonight. If you're a Crows fan, it shouldn't. But full credit to Richmond. They've been as good as they could be. Outside of some missed opportunities set shot-wise in that third quarter, you really can't ask for much more.
St Kilda next week in Nathan Broad's final game, and it's been a good fortnight for them. Maybe there's a chance for a win there as well. In the middle, Samson Ryan to Ross. Got through three to hand it to Taranto. Lynch uses the body but can't trap the footy in the wet. Flings it out with a throw. Steely Green was about to strike from 30, but is pinged. Free kick, Adelaide.
Tom Lynch had it, fumbled, went back, and then threw it.
There's a rugby pass.
It was.
Oscar Ryan exits to left half back. O'Brien's on the march. Went a little early in the end. Bounced off Thilthorpe at the back. Becomes the tackler as he wraps up Rechko. Ball shoots inward. Ross toes it forward. 30 out from home. Nutmegged was Worrell, but Archie's there with the assist as he clears the kick back towards the centre square. Richmond have the numbers. Banks with a Shepherd. And Vlostone can hit the 45 wide. It should have been an uncontested grab for Rechko. Bobbled out of his mitts. He'll tow it high towards the 50. And a little nudge on Oscar Ryan coming the way of Green. So free kick Adelaide again in defensive 50. But they're peppering down 5.
If you could go fishing anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oscar Ryan brings it out of defence. We'll let you ponder. Fisted down by Miller. We'll have a throw in 55 from Richmond's goal.
I'd love to catch a marlin.
The game's not that bad, is it?
Well, it's a 5-point game, Jamo.
It's not really happening. It's out in there's a boundary throw. Here we go. Come on, Tom.
Beat both ruckmen. Trying to be fisted forward. Riley O'Brien goes the soccer kick. Dangerous in the end. Goes back inside the forward 50. Lafau's running at it. Just a bit behind the play here. Ball in dispute. Centre half forward. Back to Tom Brown. Sends it inside the forward 50. Out the back is Green. He's waiting for the handball. Here he goes now. It's Seth Campbell. He's done some brilliant things tonight. Towards the top of the goal square. Lawler! He marks! Too good in the one-on-one contest. He hasn't had much of it tonight, but this could be his moment.
How good has Seth Campbell been? He has been clean, let alone he's actually kicked 3 goals, 1 in the second and 2 in the third. Incredibly clean when he's had the footy in hand.
Sam Lawler steps around on the left and he's kicked the belly of the ball. Snap shot. Oh, they've blown it a couple of times tonight, the Tigers. Minus score, 7-10-52. Adelaide 8-8-56.
Context of how important the margin is as well. Adelaide are still 8 points behind Brisbane in percentage when it comes to a top 4 finish right now. Still a couple of games to go as well. Exiting kick from Adelaide, nearly intercepted by Ross. Laird gathers, lost his feet in the wet. On hands and knees, shoots the handball, turning it towards Curtin. He towed it forward, Braun. Broad waiting, hands it off to Prestia. Tighten the phone box, heads to right half forward. Campbell knocked it down. Handball comes out wide to Rechko. He scanners his kick, flaring towards Ralph Smith. Nearly cut off by Ryan. Almost tackled. Players are just rolling off each other It's a slip and slide right now. Ball towards the centre square. Short sliding in. Can't control it. Broad paddles it to Prestia. He falls over. Coming in now with a slide tackle is Jaden Short. Won the footy but took out the legs in the process. Free kick Adelaide.
Oof, he's unlucky to have a free kick paid against him in that situation.
What's happened here? And 50.
And 50, he asked the question.
I reckon it's Dion Prestia has said something to the umpire. He's looked straight at him.
So it wasn't your typical below the knees where he's thrown the body in Jaden Short. He actually went low to scoop it up, and because of the conditions, just slid and then went through the legs. So Jordan Dawson get the free kick. Dion Prestia asked the question. Dawson's now marched all the way into the 50, and this is what started the final quarter.
Yep.
The Texan got a 50. That put Adelaide up by 10, and here's another one that would have Adam Uze pulling his hair out. Jordan Dawson knows about big moments, though. Staring towards the hill, a hop skip. Dawson drives it and misses to the left. It is Adelaide by 5 with 11 to go at the Adelaide Oval on ABC Sport.
Rare miss from the skipper. Teaming down out there. Tigers still well in this game, just 5 points behind. Loston brings it back into play. Up towards Ryan. O'Brien with the spoil. Lawler tackled hard there by Cook. Offensive side of centre wing. Members side of the ground. Another ball up.
That's where I think that 50-metre penalty is too great for something like that. Dion Prestia clearly frustrated, says something, but 50 metres for that?
Yep. Hard to disagree. On top of the footy is Peatling. Did he dive on it? He's wrapped up by 2 Tigers. Ball up, logo.
Plugger's got an answer for you, Jamo. Says the Redfin run well at Warunga Basin, halfway between Tatura and Rushworth.
Rushworth? Where's that?
All slung in the contest without the footy. That's got to be a free kick.
Silly one from Peatling.
Oh, it's on here. They're lining up in front of the benches.
Jack Ross really let him have it then.
Pack of 10 players in there. It's got to be a free kick here.
Go to Peatling.
It's going to be a reversal.
Yeah. Well, Jack Ross didn't need to do that. He had the free.
Always the one that retaliates gets punished. James Peatling plays on now. Up towards left half forward. Berry brings it to ground. Hotton's on the bottom of the pack. And the umpire's a bit nicer this time. They'll have a ball up at left half forward.
Young Tigers need a bit of maturity in a close game. Down 5. Tossed up. Nankervis down. Ross trying to bulldoze through, but he's mowed down by who else? James Peatling. Ball up to come just outside the arc. Tossed in the air again. O'Brien this time swats it forward. Rankin in some space. It's a beautiful set play. Tries the ball. Shoots the handball inboard to Cook. They're doing too much here. Their handball forward didn't quite work to Neil Bull, and Richmond had the numbers. It's handed towards the boundary line, though. They ask for deliberate and won't get it. Tossed in 25 out. That looked like a gorgeous run out of stoppage from Isaac Rankin. They just overthought it a bit too much.
Well, defensively, that was poor. You can't allow him just to run through, and he's probably the 3rd time he's done it tonight.
Boundary throw in. Still plenty of time left in this contest, even though there's 17 gone in this final term. Nankervis knocks it down. Neil Bullen. And there's going to be another below the knees free kick going the way of Adelaide. You don't want to dive on the ball anymore, do you? Not in these conditions. You wouldn't want to be first at the footy. That would be bad. So let's pay it to the other bloke second of the ball.
Well, it was poor technique. I think they've been a little bit unlucky at times, Richmond, with the free kicks tonight. But that one overran the footy in slippery conditions and basically just fell into Neil Bullen's legs. It's too sloppy.
Was sloppy. Neil Bullen going to take a kick of 50. He's going to set this one up to the top of the goal square. Running at it was Walker. Fist in there towards the boundary. We'll have a throw in. 35 from home. Just do get a bit frustrated with, just calling for conditions. Just that one earlier that was paid a 50-metre penalty. Didn't result in a goal.
Adelaide by 5. Text line's not happy. Says the umpiring the last term hasn't been great. Inexperienced quartet tonight. 3 of them in their first season. Tossed in. O'Brien down. Sharp. Rechko for the Tigers, gets it back to Brown, kicks up towards the corridor. Lynch forced to spoil again. Neil Bullen front and square. Handball a little hot, looking for Hawker Hahn. Keane ripped away from it, putting his head over at Lawler for the Tigers. Tried to tunnel it through to Lynch. He fell over, picked up again by Neil Bullen. 3 to beat as the Walls close in. Ball bobbles out. Peatling clean as he shoots it out to Laird. Inside 50, getting in front. Vlostone couldn't take it. And then a soccer attempt nearly punt kicked him in the head coming through. Richmond win out. Ross gets it to Nankervis, tackled by Berry, turnover. Who can make the most of their chances? Hawker Hahn underneath the footy, sends Adelaide in. Richmond have the numbers. Miller knocks it down, gets it towards Judson Clark. Vlostone is short. Here come the Tigs.
He takes a bounce. How good's the surface? He could do that in these conditions. Kicks up towards left half forward and it spills out of bounds. Lasso free kick.
I think he had 2 as well. That is super impressive.
Dawson brings it back in for Adelaide to Rankin.
Prestia had worked so hard to get ahead of the footy in that case and provide an option, but kick was hooked.
So Laird back to Dawson, right half back. Actually going to have to go long here is the skipper. Asked to play on. That's what he does, out towards the centre wing, outer side. O'Brien's in front. Keys to Rove. Nankervis lays the tackle. Miller's in there. Brown over the top. Going to get a barrel kick forward for Richmond up towards centre half forward. They've got the numbers, but Lafau did well against the Crows. 1 on 2. Knocks it towards the boundary line to the aid of his teammate. And I think that's just got a hand on that in time with Rechko. So we'll have a throw in left half forward for Richmond. They only trail by 5 points. We're into time on final turn for ABC Sport.
Waiting for a game-breaking moment in the wet. Just takes one chance.
You feel either way, isn't it, too? It's only the 5 points. Goes one way, Richmond, and they're in front with only 7 minutes remaining, and Adelaide get another one. You feel it might be too far.
Nankervis down to Ranto, toes it towards the left forward pocket. Couple of tackles late that may have been too high. Richmond are asking the question, but it's going the other way. Holding the ball, free kick, as poor old Taj Hotton's pinged by Isaac Rankin.
What prior opportunity did he have there?
I do think Richmond have been pretty unlucky with the umpiring calls in this last quarter. Not something I'd often say.
Rankin to the eastern side. O'Brien tossing for position there with Nankervis out the back, short. Retreats. Hands it off to Broad, then Brown. Backer it came from left half forward. Little shove from Rankin, and the fist comes in late from Laird. Taj Hotton unable to take the mark as it's thrust towards the Rashudo stand. Adelaide by 5. Still 6 to go here at the Adelaide Oval. Top 4 implications. A lot of September seedings. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport.
Boundary throw in. O'Brien knocks it forward. Cleverly Rove there from Richmond up towards Taranto. Lays a strong tackle. That was the same, Loz. That was exactly the same.
Yeah, it was. In fact, he had more time to drive legs with the ball.
Yeah. He's taken on 2 tackles there, Oscar Ryan. Very, very lucky. Getting the rub of the green tonight. Boundary, not a boundary, throwing a ball up. Some space out wide. Handball's inside towards Ross. What can he do with it? Takes on the tackle, flicks it back to Jaden Short on his left boot in towards the pocket, out of bounds on the full, fortunately. For the Tigers, still trailed by 5 points, but they're peppering.
Free kick count 7 of 4 Adelaide's way in this last term. Not dramatic, but a little bit of an advantage. Right back pocket, Dawson. Heads up towards right half back. Thilthorpe hasn't taken a strong grab all night and thought he had that one in the pack. Not paid. Rankin fresh airy coming through. Sonsi buffeted off the ball. Dowling swings a handball wide. Berry took it away from Peatling when they had some space. Richmond closed the door. Big tackle laid. And Brown holds things up at left half forward for Richmond. Well, the Tigers right now can smell a big upset. Tigers stalking their prey at the Adelaide Oval. Nankervis tapped down looking for Prestia. Went through his legs. Ralph Smith the handball. Trying to paddle it across but unable to get to his target is Sonsi. Adelaide get the clearing kick up the spine. Walker out to meet on the bounce. Tackled by Vlostone. Dropped it. Turnover. Campbell links up with Ross. Kick smothered. Desperate by Neil Bullen. Rolls to the arc. Prestia didn't get low enough again. This time sliding in trying to gather, but he traps the footy. They've been pinged by this before. It won't happen this time. Ball up just outside the arc. Adelaide by 5. Closing stages at the Adelaide Oval.
Josh Rosselli back onto the ground. 5.5 minutes remaining.
Nankervis down to Berry, took on the tackle, got a handball away in time. Both Taranto and O'Brien trying to get the soccer in there. Berry takes the gather, then drops it. Forward handball from Taranto into a dangerous spot. Houghton lays a strong tackle on Rory Laird. Will have a ball up 30 from home for the Tigers. Is the damn wall going to burst? So much forward pressure on here from Richmond.
Banks back on for Richmond.
Ball up, Nankervis just knocks it straight back over the boundary line in front of Houghton.
Both teams churning rotations. There's about 5 minutes to go, so you want to make sure as a coach you've got your best players out there and especially your most experienced for both teams.
One kick game. 47,000 in the house. Totsed in, Richmond's 50. Nankervis with the tap coming through. It's nutmeg through Banks, but picked up by Brown. The defender has a crack as he screws it across the body and misses to the right. Adelaide by 4. What a moment that would have been for young Tom Brown.
Thumped it.
Tom Brown. So Isaac Rankin goes back to Dawson in the goal square. They're just taking time off the clock here, but still plenty of time left in this game. Just watching him parade through left back pocket up towards Walker now and over the top and end. A big fist.
Smart footy, possession footy while you can. If Richmond aren't going to take a body, then play kick to kick for as long as possible, and then that allows your forwards and your ruck time to set up for that long down the line and create another stoppage, which takes time off the clock.
25 gone in this final term. Adelaide lead it by 4 points. O'Brien with the hit out towards Taranto. Rankin bursts through. He has been a superstar tonight. Long towards Stilthorpe. He's got 3 to beat. He finally takes the contested grab. He's going to go for home. Would it be the sealer? Floston's there in the goal square to get back. Wasn't really a shot. Wasn't really a pass. Floston on the last line of defence. Dangerous ball. Turnover. Intercepted by Zach Taylor, 45 from home.
Such a brave kick to do it at that stage of the game. Thilthorpe had to go 10 metres to his left and it would have hit Rochelle. Vloston would have been 10 metres off him. But I guess you have to pull the trigger at some point. And Vloston's kick was into some heavy traffic.
Goals have been hard to come by in these tough conditions. Zach Taylor, pure role player for this Crows team. Here is a big moment. Can he pitch one against the grain? A lovely looking drop punt. It's got the journey and it's got the accuracy. And he goes the double cobra. He's pumped. And that may be the stealer for Adelaide. 9-9-63. Richmond 7-11-53. 26 and a half gone final term.
Well, you do feel for Richmond and particularly Nick Vlostone. He's played such a good game for his team, and to Jamo's point, you do have to go for those ones. He read the ball so well and got back defensively and down on the scoreboard. Not a heap of time to go. You're trying to pull the trigger and play to the advantage of Jack Ross. But now the margin just sneaks out in the Crows' favour, and we look at the centre ball up, Cruz, and the Crows going with what they know best and what they've gone with almost all night. Berry, Rankin and Dawson inside, and Richmond, Prestia, Ross, Taranto for Nankervis.
Crows 3 points away from the Lions on percentage. Tap down, bounced off Prestia. Tackle late on Berry by Taranto. It's the Crows by 10.
Such an experienced player too. You had to hit one teammate in amongst 4 Adelaide players.
Nankervis down looking for Prestia. Awkward bounce. O'Brien thrusts it to the east side. Prestia can gather. Check side entry for Richmond. Another last hope there. Lawler crunches into Worrell very hard unnecessarily as Lafau had fisted at central, and a free kick will go Adelaide's way. And again, the maturity in the big moments just lacking a little for the young Tiger Cubs. That is a hard
Lawler?
hit.
Oh, was it Lawler?
Sammy Lawler. Put Worrell on the bumper. Headed up to right half back. Backtracking, nearly cut off. Hand came in from Grill, knocked it to Brown inside 50. Hawker-Hahn cuts it off. Handball was good under pressure. Gets it to Rankin. Now Michael Annie looking for Walker as he exits to right half back. Fist from Annan, sliding in Archie. Hold the footy in. And Houghton gets him, but it will be a ball up just outside the arc for Richmond. Enough time, but the Tigers have got to go here. They're down 10.
So Lawler done here. He's got up limping.
Maybe Crab.
Yeah, let's hope so. in terms of saying that, nothing sort of too structural. His shin, he grabbed his shin.
So from the ruck contest, bottom of the pack there is Sonsi. Finally got out late. Handball out towards Archie. Rochelle, hands and knees was short. He's been pinged a couple of times doing that. This time he gets done for in the back. So he'll win the free kick against Rochelle. And he stepped off the mark there, Rochelle. No, 50. Interesting. Short goes inside. Up towards Lawler. The young gun. Keane did well. Pack of players there for the Tigers. A pack of Tigers. They were hunting. Gets it out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. Left half forward.
Crows have parked the bus here, but what that leaves with a stoppage about 40 out is Nathan Broad and Nick Flostone just outside 50 waiting for the ball to spill on a wet night. It's not impossible.
Crows by 10. Inside 50 for Richmond. Nankervis front position. Gorgeous tap as he hits Taranto, but his handball was picked off. Taylor tried to get it off to Hall Kahan. He can't hit a teammate. Flostone kicks wide. Nathan Broad in his penultimate game. Game 190. Balks his way around Rochelle. Heads for home. It'll sit up on the behind line and a fist comes through. Archie couldn't quite read the moment. Nathan Broad would have had a big special there. Instead, it's Adelaide by 9 in the dying stages.
Well, he was on the right side, but he had to come into his left and then just couldn't settle down to, I guess, to get the timing of his kick that he needed. Went further high than it did long.
Dawson long out of defence. Miller gets the spoil in. Boundary throw in. 70 from the Tigers home. What a game from Isaac Rank. He's had 10 this quarter. 6 contested, 5 clearances, 1 inside 50.
It's just clean with the footy. It's been an absolute standout, isn't it, when he's got hold of the footy?
It'd be like a cake of soap, Jamo.
Yep.
Rechko goes the fend off, got a handball away, got it forward. Strong there from Taranto, rode the first tackle on Curtin, who ducks him into the ground. Umpire says, give it a meet. Ball up right half forward for the Tigers. Got a quick one here. It's still on. It's going to be very difficult. And Curvis knocks it down towards Ross. And as he tried to soccer that forward, cleverly from Curtin, he was pushed over the boundary line. He's kicked it out in the full.
Yeah, I think time's going to be against him. There's just 1 minute remaining.
For anyone wondering about the Adelaide tall forward setup, I can tell you Taylor Walker is helping enormously with his team in terms of structure ahead of the ball.
So Berry heads up to the broadcast wing. Couple of fists come in and knock it up towards the front row.
Just his guidance and direction, particularly for Riley Thilthorpe and the high forwards around their positioning and trying to manage numbers when Richmond are trying to get players out into space and generate this score. Walker's leading the way.
With you for the next 15 minutes. You can get in touch. We'll head into both rooms as well. The thoughts of Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamieson to come. It's been a pretty decent night. Bookended the day after a hot start for Melbourne defeating Freo. Tossed in, heads towards the corridor. Thilthorpe shoots the handball to the attacking edge for Adelaide. Curtin edged off it. Berry comes through. Tackled, turnover. Campbell to Ross. Heads wide to Steely Green at right half forward. Gets through the tackle of Rankin. Hands it back to Campbell. They're running out of room, and Brown just too much momentum as he walks it over the boundary line, trying to keep it in to centre the kick.
I like the way Richmond have used Brown as a bit of a utility and try to get him involved and break the gain open in this back stages of the last quarter, but it's just not quite clicking for them.
Poor old Tom Brown has a 15% win-loss record at the moment. He's currently 9-48. It's going to be 9-49.
I just wouldn't pick him next week.
O'Brien down, picked off Houghton, shoots the handball central to Brown, looking to go inside 50 with a Polyfarmer handball, but it's cut off by Archie. He's shined in moments tonight as he slides through traffic, kicks in the path of Walker. Time's ticking down, maybe one last goal. The Texan is edged off it. Anand, who's had his number for a lot of the night, knocked it back.
Well done.
Rechko tried to centre the kick, and it's smothered by Walker over the line.
There's a drill that you do in pre-season where you've just got to stand over the footy and not let your opponent pick the footy up, and that was Taylor Walker to a T in that situation.
36-year-old puts his hands above his head.
So it hasn't been Adelaide's best September audition. But tonight they did enough to stay in the mix for the top 4. Richmond gave it their best rocketing chance, but in the end, Adelaide win by 9 points at the Adelaide Oval.
We're courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. admiration of the nation, our determination shows. We're the pride of South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide grows.
Single-digit game for a lot of the night. Richmond by 4 at the first break, Adelaide by 1 at half-time, then 4 at three-quarter time, and ultimately win 9-9, 63 to 7-12, 54. A lot of green shoots for the Tigers. They've had a red-hot crack tonight, but Adelaide just needed to pick up the 4 points. They're just behind Brisbane on percentage, so they'll be 5th at the end of the round. But my goodness, what a 4-horse race it's going to be for that final spot. Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and Geelong all fighting for the double chance as we turn towards Friday night, where Adelaide faces Fremantle in Perth.
Where the mighty Adelaide grows. Yes, the pride of South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide grows.
Adelaide with their 8th win in 10 games. They're 14-7 on the year, and Richmond 3-18 remaining in the bottom two and just 10 wins of their last 68 games. The Tigers had some shining lights. Seth Campbell was one of those with 3 goals alongside 2 to Lafau and singles to Green and Ralph Smith. Meanwhile, for the Crows, 3 to Walker, 2 to Archie, singles to Cook, Taylor, Rankin and Cumming. In what was a wet affair at the Adelaide Oval, the Crows were able to get up for air and just get the win in the end. Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell with you on ABC Sport to unpack it all.
Not quite sure who it was on our text line, just said it's a good old scrap, wet weather football, and that's ultimately what it was. You have a look at scores conceded from turnovers. Richmond are the number one that do that, but I thought the way that they defended it did impact them early when they had the football and they were going forward and they couldn't penetrate. But Adelaide is so good in different areas, like the pressure stuff that they did tonight, tackling 66 to 54 in favour of Adelaide. They probably just won that. I didn't feel like around the football, the clearance work in the middle of the ground, it favoured Adelaide a little bit. The ground ball gets and the contested stuff around the ground, Richmond actually were winning that for quite some time too. So I think the overall effort, the back line of Richmond stood up really well. Number of players that were able to be really clean, none more than it was Seth Campbell. If they had a few like him that stood up and were clean with the football, they certainly would have given them a serious chance, but only 9 points in the end. You probably go, they played pretty well, when I thought we all came here thinking that Adelaide were going to well and truly win this one.
Yeah, I think if you judge both teams on what's happened prior to the game in this season and then what we saw tonight, then Richmond looked the better side for a lot of the game. And the Crows, you just feel they just did enough, and they'd be satisfied that don't think they've had any injuries tonight, so that's a tick for them as they move towards finals. Bank another win, but I was impressed by Richmond. I really didn't think they'd get that close to the Crows regardless of the weather, and even the free kick count being 26 to 17 and some of the free kicks that went against them in that last quarter in particular. I was just impressed with the young group that they've got, the style of footy they're trying to play. I don't love that they only had 54 tackles for a whole game of footy in the wet largely. I think that's an area they can be better in the contest against stronger sides, but I think if you're walking down the race as Richmond, there's be so much mixed emotion because you've had a good crack, but also complete missed opportunity. There's some goals they left out there, and we spoke about Lynch earlier in the game, but even Sam Lawler's attempt close to goal late in that last quarter, you'd be a little bit dirty flying home to Melbourne, I would have thought. 51
inside 50s to 50 in favour of Richmond, so they had enough, and to your point, the 12 behinds, and there was 2 rush, but that hot one, that first goal, they should have kicked that and just got the inside of the post too. And Tom Brown, he's behind Sitter there in that last quarter, and then Steely Green in the first quarter. So some real chances that they should have got probably even half of those, and then they give themselves, if could have and should have. But yeah, they probably just that start, like Hotton's one, like they were up and about. If he had got that early, it just changes. And it's hard as a coach loss too. Like, I don't know why. You just get one up and then get another and away you go. And Richmond were good early.
I think ultimately as well, like the Crows senior players stood up. And Isaac Rankin, he couldn't have played a more impressive 5 or 6 weeks of footy for me. Tonight, 790 metres gained is almost rude. 37 disposals. That's an impressive game of footy. He did it at both ends of the ground too. He did spend a large chunk of the first half playing as the defensive mid until he flicked over with Dawson and then was able to have an impact in the front half. And Dawson as well with the 35 and nearly 600 metres gained. I think those two carried them and were able to provide stability where needed. And having Cal Archie in this team is a low disposal count with 11, but his ability to navigate what's being thrown around at stoppage I think is really important for this side. And even that last kick, the ugly taunt that was to Taylor Walker's favour, just to take time off the clock and put it in your front half when you need to.
It's one of those games that Adelaide just had to win, and they got over the line in the end by 9. They're still in the hunt for a top 4 finish, and they're walking down the race to meet Josh Money right now in the Crows rooms. Down to you, Josh.
As well after what was a real war of attrition for fans and players alike in that second half. But a huge turnout inside these Crows rooms, and they're walking in very much relieved after what was a nervous night, and they've said during the week that their destiny's in their own hands. Probably not the percentage boosting win that they might have hoped for, but they stressed how imperative it was to win all 3 games and give themselves every chance of finishing in the top 4, and job done tonight. And they're slowly forming now to what will be a very wet rendition of the song.
Can see you in the background there, Josh, on our monitor too, but it looks like there's the players to people ratio in that room now. There's hardly any room in there for the players.
Right up South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide Crows. Courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation and determination. Just to the pride of South Australia, where the mighty Adelaide Crows.
You're spot on, Jam. I nearly got crunched by that huddle, but full house in here. I'll be back with one of the young stars in a moment.
So Adelaide in 5th now, just behind the Lions on percentage. They're about a goal away from leapfrogging them back into the spot they came into the round in, but all that matters is the final fortnight now as these 4 sides clash for the double chance. So Adelaide with Fremantle and GWS to come. Brisbane have Gold Coast and Collingwood. Melbourne have Port and the Western Bulldogs, and Geelong feel like they're in the hunt as well with North Melbourne and Richmond to come out of their last 2. So it's anybody's ball game, and as Josh said, Matthew Nick said it last week, destiny's in their hands right now in terms of what they can do in September. And not all wins have to be the greatest, do they, Lauren? Sometimes it's just about banking the 4 points, and they probably would have wanted more out of tonight, but it would have been catastrophically worse if they dropped it.
That's really true, and I do think there's going to be a lot of vision if you're coaching. You look at tonight, and particularly those forward 50 entries in the first 2 and a bit quarters of the game were ugly. They were hot, they were pressured. Richmond defended the ground really well, but just cooking the footy when you haven't got Fogarty ahead of the ball, it wasn't great footy offensively from the Crows, and I really liked the way Richmond defended the ground for a lot of the game. So I mean, yeah, you've got to be optimistic. I know that there'll be Crows fans who are not feeling overly optimistic after that game tonight, but a win is a win, no injuries, and ideally you get players like Nankervis and Fogarty back next week.
Mega game for Isaac Rankin tonight, so 37 touches and a goal with his 12 clearances. I've mentioned all the numbers over the last 5 weeks, but they're going to boost even more on what he's been able to add in terms of that midfield mix. So handy bit of class on ball right now for the Crows, and as Lauren touched on, maybe just the bookends needing a little bit of work heading into the final fortnight of footy. That being said, a chance to see some young stars tonight again for Adelaide. They've got Riley O'Brien back in as well. He looked lively in the first half, so at least they know what they're working with in terms of their depth, the Crows. The question is, if you based Friday night off tonight, they're no chance against Fremantle, but if you put the season in perspective, it's going to be a fun blockbuster.
Oh, you bring Nankervis back, you bring Fogarty to be available.
Yep.
And James Borlays, you'd hope he's right.
Miller
and
well.
Wayne Miller is probably the next big one, really. And
I think he's still another 2 or 3.
2 or 3 away.
But he'll be back, obviously.
But yeah, I do think that Fogarty, Nankervis is a name that will never be in the front line of conversation when you're talking about the Crows shaping towards finals. But he's had such a consistent year and really earned his spot supporting the wings and the half-backs.
Thoughts of Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamieson with you on ABC Sport. All the fallout coming your way, as well as the comments from Andrew Dillon on AFL Saturday this morning about the Geelong concussion saga. It's Adelaide winners by 9. Let's get some reaction in the rooms with Josh Money.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aaron. Joined by Hugo Kahan, who's only played a handful of AFL games. Is that your wettest and toughest yet, Hugo?
Yeah, I reckon. I've played in a few wet ones. I was saying before, I think We only played in a couple dry ones, so getting used to it. But no, we know what we need to do in these sorts of games. It was obviously a tough one. We grinded it out, but glad to get the win.
Were you surprised by just how tight it was? I mean, obviously a percentage boosting win would have been ideal tonight, but winning was the absolute priority.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can ever be surprised in this competition. Everyone's so good. Contest pressure, it's a one word for everyone these days. They're so good. They're always going to bring it, especially in games like this when it's bucketing down with rain. It sometimes gets hard to score. So we're definitely, we take the win. We take any win in this competition.
Congratulations, a 2-year contract extension during the week as well. How much are you loving your short journey with this club so far?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm so grateful that they've shown faith in me to give me another 2 years, and I just want to repay that, do what I need to do. I'm just so grateful. I'm so happy at the moment. It's an amazing club, amazing staff from top to bottom, players. It's awesome.
Here's Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamison.
Yeah, Hugo, Rod Jamison, well done tonight. What was Nixie's message? I guess the balance of being able to play wet weather football and kick the ball forward, but it just seemed there was probably too much handball.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of that. We obviously, when the rain started to come, we wanted to make it a surge game and really take the ball forward. But I think early on, the main message was we weren't really moving the ball well in our back half. Our back six needed to explode a bit more and create some chaos in there and some pockets of space for us to open up, and we weren't really doing that. So we went to look at that, but obviously then the rain came, so it turns into a different game, and we looked to surge the ball. So it was a number of things.
We sit up here and we just watch Isaac Rankin just with his wizardry and how clean he is. When you compare to other players, it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, he was amazing tonight. I literally saw him in everything. You saw him on the bottom, and then he was up and breaking tackles. He was amazing tonight, and it's a pleasure playing with him.
It's about your own team, but what did you find difficult with Richmond tonight? What impressed you?
Oh, their forwards get up and rip back really, really well. They get goal side here sometimes, so that was a challenging one for us, but their pressure was really good. They get in the holes in their team D really well, so we found it a bit tough to move the ball, but I think that was off the back of us a bit, so we need to work on that a bit, but they worked that out really well, and they were sitting in the holes plugging it really well, so we couldn't really move the ball, but their pressure was really good tonight as well, so glad we got the win.
Hugo, it's Lauren Arnell. You mentioned how the forwards like to get up and then rip back. How much of that was coming from stoppage? I saw a couple of times there were a few of you trying to navigate different things that were happening around stoppage with their high forwards.
Yeah, they were throwing a few different things at us, going into the stoppage, behind the rucks. We planned for that. We knew it was coming. It's just certain things that happen. It always happens week in, week out. They're going to throw things at you. We just need to think about it on the spot and work with each other as a back six and get it done.
And you also talked about how more aggressive offence you needed probably in that second half. How important was it to address at half-time the inside 50 entries? It seemed like there were a lot of long kicks that were just going in a bit too slow. Was there a bit of a conversation around urgency and more speed on the ball?
Not really. I mean, we're probably waiting for things to open up. We were just looking to get the ball in that connection zone just above the 50 and see what looks we could get. Obviously, with the rain, we're trying to just put it up in front of the cage a bit and let the boys go to work. If we can make it a front half game, we're happy with that. It's more so just locking it in there and not letting it come back out. That was the main thing. But yeah, it's a tricky one. We got to look at different ways to get better. If we want to move it fast or move it slow, there's certain avenues we got to look at.
Hugo Hawke-Arns with us on ABC Sport after the Crows' 9-point win over the Tigers. It's Aaron Bryans here, Hugo. You've got a luxury riches at half-back, and you've certainly added to that tremendous depth that's now there with Rory Laird. Oscar Ryan's looking great as well. Wayne Miller is going to come back in. Walk us through your development as a mid-season pick when you've got so many talented players around you.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but I've literally just taken it week by week. It's trying not to think too far ahead, learning off guys like Wayne and Lairdy and doing a bit of vision with Wayne and stuff like that. But honestly, just trying not to fill my head with too much stuff. Sort of been a pretty chaotic month and a bit for me, so that's probably the main thing, and Nixie's been amazing with that, just making sure I'm playing off instinct but then doing the team things as well. So it's great how much depth we've got back there. It's going to cause a few headaches at selection, which is always a good thing heading into finals, so we'll see how that goes.
Are you feeling that at training in terms of the options, the managements, the fact that there are still stars to come back, that everybody is fighting for September right now?
Yeah, and it's a good thing. You need a healthy list, I think, to go all the way in September. So we'll be dealing with that. There's selection, there's spots up for selection. So we're looking at that, and everyone's trying as hard as they can. And the coaches will leave that up to them.
Hugo, it's Tom Wilson here, mate. Talk us through Riley O'Brien. I know you're new to the club, but he's been the long-standing ruckman, and Lockie McAndrew's been in his spot, rested this week. Did you notice the crowd really getting behind him? They were cheering basically every touch he had.
Absolutely. Birdo, you talk to anyone at the club, absolutely love him. He's just awesome. The way he's attacked this whole year, I know I've only been here for a month and a half, but for what's to happen to him, lose his spot and just he fronts up every week and has a smile on his face and really gets around the boys. He's an incredible human being. I can't speak highly enough of him, and he was absolutely magnificent tonight. He competed so well, and I thought he was the better one out there today.
Going to sidetrack quickly, Hugo, but walk us through what Josh means in the song. What's going on there?
I'm not too sure. I'm still new, so I think it might be something to do with an old player. I don't know. I think that was something that was before my time.
We'll get onto the riddle across the next 2 weeks, I'm sure. And tell us, what does the word Fremantle mean to you right now?
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it if we can head over there, if I'm picked, obviously. And really looking forward to it. I think they just came off a loss today, so they're going to be fit and firing. They're going to absolutely throw it at us. So I can't wait.
We were talking about the roller coaster that a season can be, where some wins look absolutely elite and some losses look like the worst in the world. And tonight, you were heavy favourites and you just get over the line. But do you feel like, if you look at the campaign in totality, you're ready for the ladder leaders?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Our game stacks up. I think we're really high in contest and pressure. They're the main things you need heading into finals. So we take a lot of confidence in that going into next week and the games to come and finals, definitely.
Can't wait to see how it all plays out. Thanks for your time, Hugo. Congratulations on the start to your career as well.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hugo Hawker-Hahn downstairs after Adelaide's 9-point victory. He's really developing into a handy option. It's just his 9th game tonight, but he's averaging nearly 20 touches. And there is going to be a selection squeeze at some point. I've seen some Crows fans say they'd prefer him over Rory Laird. It's amazing what he's been able to do, but Matthew Nicks has got some tough decisions to come. Jamo?
I just think, credit to the recruiters to find someone like that in the middle of all and get him here, and then he's here 1 week and playing the next week, and then look what he's shown and how he's really grown. And just listening to him talk, he's quite a mature guy too. So very impressive.
He talked during the week, Jamo, after signing that contract extension, and sort of about what he learnt at Sydney, and when he went back to the VFL after being delisted, he'd not only sort of learn about his own game and physically, but he'd learn the mental side of it and how to approach the game. And when his name was called for Adelaide, he knew he'd be ready to go. So it was quite fascinating, as we found out in that interview. Very insightful bloke.
We always sort of talk about, like, he's 22, the US system, and that's sort of going through college and get him to that 21, 22, and Loz?
I'm big on that. I think the draft age, and for both girls and boys, I think the draft age is a very healthy conversation to be having. 18 in these cases often seems like not the right time, and particularly for young tools, it's never a great time to come in as an 18-year-old. And we see midfielders dominate and big bodies dominate through junior years, and then they get to the 18th year and get drafted at a high pick, and suddenly all of the adults on the field are just as strong, if not stronger than you, and so it rarely benefits. So I'd love to see, once AFLW evolves a little bit more, because we know that all the young players are the players that have had a full pathway, but in the men's competition you probably do it both at the same time, so you give it a little bit longer. But I think naturally you'd expect the draft age to increase.
Well, the pressure of year 12, probably just getting your licence, being drafted or feeling like you want to be drafted, plus the pressure of all these player managers and clubs coming to you and going through the combine and the camps.
I think as well, life experience and returning to the education field this year, and I'm doing a bit of teaching at Flinders University at the moment, as well as some high school relief teaching, and just seeing there's a lot of kids at Henley High who have draft hopes in the girls and boys spaces with their footy academy, and there's SANFL young players I'm teaching at university at the moment in the education space, and you just think if they needed to go to a college type system or university or do a trade of their interest and set themselves up for life outside of football, which ties into the concussion conversation as well, can we help these young people be wonderful footballers but also better people outside of the game? And I think raising the draft age provides for both.
And they haven't probably had a part-time job either. So the first paycheck they get is 80 to 100 grand, and think, how good is this?
We can talk about all of the topics on that if we dive in on gambling. I won't do it to you guys. But you look at a team like Melbourne Storm, who've been so successful in the NRL space for so long, and we know that Craig Bellamy, for years and years and years, as soon as the new recruits, however old you are, whatever club you've come from, or if you're a fresh player and you've just earned your first contract, the Storm make those players do at least a week of hard work and train at the same time. So they set different training times. They ask them to go and work outside of rugby and gain a full appreciation of the opportunity they have as athletes.
Thoughts of Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamison with you on ABC Sport. We're going to chat about the Tigers very shortly and get some reaction from their camp. But as Andrew says on the text line from Doug Craig, enjoyed the call. Freo Melbourne today was unreal. What chance does Adelaide have next week against Fremantle? So where are we leaning ahead of the start to what will be an absolute blockbuster in round 23?
Well, I think, Hugo feels that they're up for it. And probably the stats would suggest that they are too in terms of where Adelaide sit. But Fremantle are ahead of them on a number of the genuine KPIs. But I think the midfield speed of Fremantle, you talk about the firepower up forward for Adelaide, like Fremantle's is exceptional. Both defences are really sound, and it's going to be in front of 50,000 Wharfie fanatics, it's going to be a huge game, and it's probably the right game for Adelaide to head over there now, leading into a finals campaign. 1, great challenge. 2, lose. All right, what do we do? How do we go about it? Learn from it. If win, how good is that the other way? But what did we take out of that as well? So I think it's going to be a cracking game.
I do think you addressed some challenges at the selection table this week if you're the Crows, and we spoke pre-game. I loved your point, Jamo, about potentially O'Brien playing again next week and McAndrew having another week off. And if I'm Matthew Nicks right now, I might be getting jumpy on that. I'd want to be putting as strong a team as possible out there against Fremantle and having an absolute crack. And the first part they'll need to address going up against Freo, coming off a loss and then going to Perth, is you're going to need to take a much taller forward line to Perth than what you had tonight at Adelaide Oval.
They'll get Darcy Fogarty back, which will certainly be a handy addition for that.
Yeah, and hoping to get Ball Ace back to try and tackle those.
I said forward line. I meant back line. Apologies, guys. You're going to need a significantly taller... It's getting late in the night, isn't it? You're going to need a taller back line than what you had tonight against Richmond. My apologies.
And 6-day break too.
Tough ones, because I think, 3 weeks ago, even coming off that win over Sydney, that was such a huge away win. But not many people are going to Perth and beating Freo. So that's one thing that's going to be very difficult to do. So if they don't do it, we can't be thinking that it's the end of the world. But I guess it's just the way that the game goes down, because with a top 4 spot on the line, and they really do test their finals credentials.
I know it's being home and being comfortable and doing that, but I'd get over there as early as I can too. Just get over there, time change, time different, just settle in.
How early?
I'd definitely go Wednesday, Friday night game. Maybe go Tuesday, but certainly definitely go Wednesday as opposed to the normal day before. Get a real good go at it. I mean, it's a long trip. It's the longest trip. Well, probably Perth to Brisbane is probably the biggest trip, those 4 teams. But yeah, time change, couple of hours, just acclimatise. It doesn't sound like a lot, but just the little things that need to be done.
It's the perfect measuring stick, but as Tom said, if it goes too hard the other way, it can damage your confidence ahead of September. So you want to be close, and if you win, it's great. And if you lose, I don't think you lose many supporters, given they are the ladder leaders. But
how close to September? If you're only a couple of weeks away. But look at Brisbane last week, get absolutely belted and beat up, and then go out and do what they did last night.
Yeah.
Do you think the Crows have that lever? I feel like, have we seen it enough? I know we've seen them. The Western Bulldogs game was a wonder to watch. I thought that was the night that they did something that what Brisbane has been able to do when they bounce back.
Yes, the SCG win too against Sydney, I think is an important shout, and it really wasn't that long ago. I think they can shake Freo, and the beauty of Sydney in Perth, what was that, about a month ago against Fremantle, when they crumbled in the last quarter, but before that, they showed a blueprint of how to beat Fremantle, and Melbourne have done it again today. So, I mean, there's opportunity there.
We'll see how they go tactically, I guess, against the benchmark of the comp.
I think the biggest pressure game they played in was probably the showdown here, where Port just absolutely applied pressure for the entirety of that game. That's what I'd probably have a look at. And how to navigate and what could we have done better, because that's going to be the type of pressure that Fremantle are going to throw at you.
And that's the flip side. If you have a loss like the Swans did that night, where it's, even if you're up early but you can set 100.5, a fortnight out from September, I think it'll do some damage. So there's a line there that Adelaide need to be competitive and not completely roll over if it gets too hard. But, gee, it'll tell us a lot Friday night, and cannot wait to see how it all plays out in Perth as we kickstart round 23 on ABC Sport. A couple of other texts coming through. So Dean's wondering why there's no Thursday night game next week. It's because the AFLW's underway, Dean. So we've got the first game tomorrow, which you can actually hear on ABC Listen from 4, St Kilda and Carlton as part of the double header. And then we have this big gap until Thursday night where we get some clear air for Hawthorn and Melbourne. So, look, I like it that it gets a standalone platform. I don't like the gap between the games, but at least it's getting a chance to get, off the ground running, Lauren, and then we'll see what happens in terms of the rest of the fixture. But that is why there's no Thursday night game this week.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. But, Loz, where's the best time again for the year for the AFLW?
Look, I think ultimately, long term, the season is significantly longer than 12 games. I think everyone should play each other once, which means W ends up crossing over further into the men's season. And something else, like, it's not perfect, right? We're entering into the 11th season of AFLW, but most of the pre-season now is in winter. And so there's challenges with that. And, you do have to do your time as a competition. But, yeah, ultimately I think it pushes closer to the Easter mark of the year, and you have 17 rounds of footy where everyone plays each other once, and hopefully that evolves as well with Tasmania coming in.
I'm trying to get it as much clearer as possible, I think, so that it just gets the coverage it deserves, because there's going to be a lot of games that are head-to-head with the AFL this year, and I'm not sure how that's going to help the broadcast numbers that they need to justify expanding the fixture. And the AFL will almost use it against itself in a sense to say it hasn't grown if the audiences aren't there. Brett in Canberra says, great call, difficult conditions. I think the Crows can push for the top 4 this year, but how do they match up against the Lions?
It's a great question. I think, I like that the Crows have blooded some of the young kids in the last 2 weeks, but from what I saw tonight, this is nowhere near their best team.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit here and can young players that are getting opportunities, but there are a number of players out there tonight that if the Crows are going to win a final this year, those guys are playing SNFL at that point of the year. They're not playing AFL footy. And so, if you look at the injury list, there's a depth of players that need to come back into this team. Without mixing my words again, that includes taller defenders.
Thoughts of Lauren Arnell, Rod Jamieson with you tonight. Let's turn towards the Tigers. A very gallant performance against a side that was the heavy favourites at home, and Richmond got within single digits and had a couple of chances late. Josh Money's down in their rooms for some reaction. In a moment's time. I think we're going to head to Josh very shortly. I've jumped the gun there, unfortunately. We'll try and head there in a moment's time. Ray in the Riverland sent us a text. I like this one as well. So, very entertaining call. Love Lauren Arnell's info. Very helpful in knowing what is happening with the game. Sorry, Aaron, that you weren't the winner. And Jamo, you were so calm and neutral in victory. So there you go.
Jamo was on a fishing boat in his mind.
Did we find out what your favourite location was? No. I got a text and they said, did we get an answer?
No, I don't think we did. North Queensland or up sort of top of Australia would be nice.
And I texted him saying that, so I don't know why it's thrown to me.
Josh seems to know where he wants to go fishing, possibly.
I'll give a shout. I lived in Lakes Entrance for the last 2 years of high school, so that's far northeast coast of Victoria.
Yep.
Cold in the winter, but a lovely part of the world, and lots of commercial fishing boats go out into the ocean off Lakes Entrance. Big fishing town. And I think if you want to catch something big, Jamo, you head out to Lakes Entrance. Fair trip from Adelaide, but potentially worth it if you want to catch something more than what you got in the igloo.
It's almost like a game of golf where you go out with mates and you just talk a bit of rot for 4 hours, like just doing it on a boat.
You do that enough with us, mate.
I was about
need
to say,
more of it.
So to clarify, the fish don't matter. The setting matters.
Yeah.
I'll withdraw that then. Let's go, have you been to Stradbroke Island?
No.
Just off Brisbane?
I've been to Hamilton Island.
Stradbroke Island is a bit of a ferry out of sort of east of Brisbane.
Yep.
Not hard to get to, and a beautiful part of the world.
What, the 4 of us should go fishing.
So I think we're getting a bit sidetracked, so I might just steer this ship back towards footy again and
We're
the
still
Tigers.
with Josh Money, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we'll get down to him very shortly. But
the Tigers almost caught a big fish tonight.
there you go. That's the segue that I was after. Talking point through the week was about Adam Duze's future and the fact that he has the worst coaching record in the first 56 games of his tenure. You feel like tonight maybe he answered a few questions because tactically he really kept up with Matthew Nicks, and John O'Rourke said on 774 during the week that he's going to coach to 100 games. He's signed to 20 and 28 and said, I'll assure you he'll be there till the end of that deal. So even though they're 3 and 18 now on the year, the green shoots were really prevalent tonight. Do you feel like Adam Duze's got enough to stick it through to another campaign?
Well, we spoke earlier about you need to be patient with coaches, and particularly first-time coaches. He's got enough experience, and you need probably 3 years initially, if not 5, to get where you want to go and have your own team, because you inherit and then you get into the recruiting and then you bring in players that you need and want. So you have to be patient. And even if you talk Richmond, so yes, they won 2017 and then on 19 into 20. How good was that 4 years there? But they hadn't won one since 1980. So they've gone a long time. And yes, we all want to win one, and the gap's so big, but it's a freaking hard game to play. It's a freaking hard game to coach.
I agree.
Loz.
Yeah, I'm so with you, Jamo. I think Adam Duze completely deserves his time. And any conversation suggesting otherwise baffles me, to be really honest. I think what we saw tonight and the win against the Eagles last week, could they have won more games of footy than 3 this year? Yeah, probably. But we're seeing some wonderful players ply their trade. We're seeing some connection across the field, and a team that almost cracked the Crows at Adelaide Oval tonight.
That's always the hard part, is when you do shake it up after a caretaker coach who's gotten the kids to a point, and then you change it. Would they lose a bit of chemistry there? And we're starting to see now that these first round picks are flowing and progressing, and a lot of the chat is the 50-game benchmark when you really start to shine, and a lot of these first rounders aren't there yet. There's only a few of them that have played 18 or more over the last 2 years, so really there's a lot of potential once they just keep them on the park.
Well, I think the longevity that I've been in this role, and I've worked with Mick Malthouse and David Parker, and I've asked them this question too around how long is, when do you find yourself in the right position, and is there a blueprint to actually picking your squad of 40? Like, do you have, 15 midfielders? Do you have 12 backs? Do you have how many? What is the number? But you can't really land on it. You can't be definitive. So I think, again, you have to be patient. And if you want to refer to a club that hasn't been patient, then just look at Carlton. And they've had their 12 coaches in 25 years, and they just keep blowing up. And here we are now finding that Josh Fraser might be the right one, and look what he's been able to do. But you have to be patient.
I think also team balance is important. So we've seen what's happened with the Suns this year, and loading up on stars. And one of the points I was trying to make throughout the call is, now that we know what Nathan Broad's doing next year, and he won't be playing for Richmond. Flostone was incredible tonight, but also the best of him is past him. I'm intrigued by Rygeesh, and I believe he's the list manager at Richmond, and how they choose to formulate their list going into 2027 and beyond. You wonder if Adam Duze says, no, we've got the young fellas, let's stick with them, or if they see potential trade targets similar to an Alex Neil-Bullen and a Kel Archie, not with the design of let's get a premiership in the next 2 or 3 years, but with the design of, hey, you're a player who's probably getting squeezed out at your existing club because you're starting to age out, but we see that you're more than healthy, fit and capable enough to be playing amongst this group of men over the next 3 years, and we need your experience to keep level heads around a very talented group of high draft picks.
Well, I think the challenge of this is an all-in move by them too next year. If they go after Butters, what are they going to give up? And they're in that position based on where they are on the ladder to be able to do that, but do they want to do that?
So, fantastic footballer and also another star.
Yep.
So you're putting a star amongst stars, and that's I'm not saying Butters is anything like Petrarca, but that recipe isn't precise, right? So can you find another role player like Adelaide have really cleverly done with Neil-Bullen and Archie? Can you find another senior role player who's played 100, 150 games of footy and potentially falling on the outside and holds enormous value in a side like Richmond?
So Liam Baker was one that was taken from Richmond to West Coast. I'd say
clever move.
Has been a fantastic move, and you can see the way he plays, and he's bringing players along, and they've got Starcevic from from
Brisbane
Lions as well.
Yep.
And yeah, you talk about Nick Flockstone and what he's been able to do tonight, like just having that senior leadership to at least rally some of the youth and show the way, that'll do them a world of good as well. So they've got a pretty decent balance right now. The problem is Tom Lynch was very non-committal with Lauren Wood last week, speaking about his future. He's about to become a dad alongside Olivia in September, and he's 33 right now, so he might not be there. Dion Presti, there's talks he's going to the Giants to navigate his way to a coaching role, so he's 34 in October.
Smart. Yeah.
So he might be out the door to go join Adam Kingsley and a reuniting there, and Nathan Broad's about to retire. So there's three senior pillars who are about to depart the Tigers. A lot of leadership that needs to be filled.
Yeah, and I do think you'd want to be proactive in that space, and I don't think it is. If it's Butters, then you're probably losing negotiation power with everybody else because you've got to pay up. But if it's not Butters, then you've got flexibility to find quality players that might be 3 or 4 or 5 years younger than Prestia types who can add real value as leaders within your playing group.
Also on tonight, just the last one before we move over to the Geelong concussion drama, Isaac Rankin had a ranking point night of 224. So that is the most in Adelaide Crows history. The best of all time, Gary Ablett Jr. had 251 in 2008. So that tells you how close he got in terms of his performance tonight, which was an amazing 36 touches, 30 of those effective. He had 18 contested possessions. He kicked at 75% as well. 6 tackles and the goal to go to his name. So Isaac Rankin with a massive night, 7 inside 50s, was 800 metres gained and ends up with over 200 ranking points. It was a huge night for him and, preached it a lot through the night. But his last 2 months really have showcased exactly what Adelaide was missing in September last year. So, huge result for Isaac there.
And 18 contested. Plus
none of it was cheap footy.
No, and then he gets tagged and he gets worked hard against too. So, solid.
All
absolutely
right,
solid.
Let's head into the rooms. Kai Anand is downstairs with Josh Money after a very gallant performance from the Tigers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aaron. And joined by Kai Anand. Kai, just 9 games of footy so far. How tough was that? And the chance to play on someone like Tex Walker tonight, how much did you relish that, albeit not the result you wanted?
Yeah, not the result, but the boys fought hard. We all dug in. But yeah, you sort of bite yourself a little bit standing out there in game 9 and you're playing on Tex, who's kicked 700 or something. I spoke to him after the game, just as a pleasure to play on him. So to get that sort of experience so early on it'll do me good in the long run.
There was a bit of back and forth between you two throughout the night. I think he maybe got you for a free kick at one point. What did he say after that?
Oh, I was having a laugh and he just said how stiff I was. And I just said, geez, you're pretty smart. So there's a bit of that, but no, he was good to play on. So,
what was the coach's message? Because so gallant, but ultimately ends in defeat.
Yeah, we just went through all our spirit and our Richmond behaviours. They were all there throughout the night. It was just the polish at the end of it. So there's a few moments finals-like moments that we want to take into the game, and you want to, when you have your moment, you want to be able to go well there. But yeah, there was little moments that we didn't take at times and that sort of got us. But yeah, you can't fault the effort.
Before I throw you upstairs, I was asking about your pronunciation before. You said you get Anand and Anand. Let's set the record straight nice and early in your career.
Yeah, it's Anand.
There you go. Here's Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell.
Yeah, Kai, Rod Jamieson, congrats on your game too. Is that the first time to Adelaide Oval for you?
Yeah, first one. We came here yesterday for captain's run, so it was nice and sunny yesterday. It was good in the first half, but when it started pouring rain, it got a bit wet, but it's unreal. Atmosphere is so cool.
Yeah. No, we had a bit of a laugh up here because when that 50 gave and then Taylor said he threw it up and then there was the footage was on you both and it was as if to say, I did overplay it. You got caught out with the 50.
Yeah, that's exactly how it played out.
Yep.
I reckon he just got me for smarts there. I thought he went to play on, so I went for the tackle, and there you go. Next thing I'm done.
What about Ben Miller's game tonight too?
Oh, he's we missed him there for a couple of weeks. I sort of one man out, but playing alongside him, he's been awesome. He's always big job on Phil Thorpe again tonight. But yeah, he's awesome to play alongside, as well as a few of the other boys like Brody and Tigger. They're helping me while I'm out there and helping my career advance pretty quick.
Hey, Kai, tell us about Adam Uze. So you come in the middle of the season. There's obviously a lot of pressure on the coach who's trying to build this rebuilding list towards a competitive campaign, and the win-loss record is almost an afterthought considering the development of the players he's trying to do. But walk us through how, important and positive he is as a senior coach.
Yeah, he's been awesome from the day I've come in. He got me in his office pretty early on and sort of went through a bit about himself. And he's like connected with the group like straight away. The boys love him. We love playing for him. The results aren't there at the moment, but there's a clear message where we want to go and how we want to play. It's definitely working out. We'll get there. But yeah, he's been awesome to play under. How connected he is and tight with us boys. It helps having a coach like that when you're running out.
Before we let you go, you're a new body down back, but gee, it's a big moment next week against St Kilda. Nathan Broad, the triple premiership defender, plays his final game. But how are you feeling ahead of it to celebrate Broady?
Yeah, well, I've only been here for a short time with him. Even when he came in and did his speech, I was getting a little bit sad. And then he's nearly slotted one from 50 today, so that would have been the cherry on top. But no, it'll be an awesome game. The boys will get up for it, and we'll fight hard again, and we'll try and get the win again for him.
Should be a special afternoon. Thanks for your time, Kai, and congratulations on the effort tonight.
Thanks, boys. Cheers.
Kai Anand downstairs with Josh Money after the Crows' 9-point victory here at the Adelaide Oval. All right, we're fast running out of time. AFL Sunday tomorrow at midday with Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling. We've got 3 AFL games to ramp up the round with the Giants and the Suns, West Coast and Collingwood, and St Kilda and Carlton. But in between all of that is the start of the AFLW, which you can hear on ABC Listen from 4:15 Eastern Standard Time, part of that doubleheader between the Saints and the Blues to get us underway. Earlier today, Andrew Dillon jumped on AFL Saturday to chat about the Geelong concussion saga with Jake Kolodjasny. The story there, if you're not across it, that Geelong essentially asked Jake to sign a waiver as part of his player contract a few years ago, given he had a history of concussions and didn't get the complete green light from the concussion panel a few years back. Many in the industry feel like that was a big decision that, essentially took away a player's rights to basic health and safety in the workplace. Andrew Dillon, as a result, has been trying to clear up why they originally didn't penalise Geelong, why they're now investigating it. All the conflicts of interest with Craig Drummond, who's the current chairman at the AFL, who was the president of Geelong at the time. He jumped on with the crew on AFL Saturday this morning. This is what he had to say in regards to how much the AFL did know about what Geelong decided to do with Jake Kolodjasny and who essentially oversaw that decision.
No, the AFL and people within the AFL legal and insurance and risk team, on the back of the concussion panel, which is convened by the AFL, so this is back in 2023 or 4, spoke to Geelong about, on the back of the panel with the player wanting to come back and play, about making sure that there was an understanding in relation to the risk and making sure that there was an understanding in relation to the consent.
But you didn't know that was in a waiver form?
Didn't know that it was necessarily in a written form, or that there would have this other provision in it.
So Andrew Dillon essentially saying, yes, the AFL were aware of some sort of discussion, but didn't physically see the document, which is supposed to be going through the Players Association, through the league, and obviously through the manager of Jake Kolodjasny, who reportedly didn't know either. Big hardball question from Mick Malthouse in the follow-up to Andrew Dillon, asking him, would he want his children to sign a document like that? Here's what he had to say.
I would want them to be in an environment that is as safe as it can be. And when you have, concussions affect people differently, and if you have multiple concussions and you take a bit longer to respond to them, that's when you go before the panel, and that's what happened in this case. Yeah. And then he's been cleared fit to play. So what you'd want is your son or daughter to be doing what they're doing as safely as they can.
And also Craig Drummond's role in it all, given the fact he has a significant conflict of interest. This is how Andrew Dillon says the AFL will approach that in their investigation.
Well, I think, as Craig said in his statement, he hasn't been and won't be involved in any deliberations. So I think that you can clear it that way. And I think if you think about, what's good governance and anything, part of that is actually mistakes do happen and then owning up when they happen. And that's what, so far we've seen from Geelong, from current president, current CEO and former president.
So still a lot of questions to be answered by the AFL moving forward, albeit Andrew Dillon probably navigated his way through some tough ones today across multiple platforms.
It's not a mistake. You can't call it a mistake because it's a planned thing. A mistake would be, I don't know, for getting a 0 in the contract, but this is something outside of a normal contract. So how's that a mistake?
They've been pushing the boundaries for years with multiple attempts at competitive advantage, and this one felt like they took it a bit too far. And Dylan, during that interview, also said that he was pleased that Geelong were held, taking accountability for it. But the report from Jay Clark was that when he asked them about it a week ago, they denied it. So we'll find out more across the next week. But obviously, there were a lot of eyes on the Geelong game today when they defeated Essendon by 67 points, and Chris Scott had to front the media afterwards. He was asked about the whole issue. Here's what he had to say.
They're entitled to an opinion. I'd prefer if it was a bit more informed. Yeah, my opinion, and this is deliberate, that I am kept at arm's length from these things. So even if I was prepared to say more, I just wouldn't be able to give you anywhere near a clearer picture as the people that actually were involved in this stuff or are involved in it. But it's not 1980. The coach doesn't run everything these days. Well, so I don't even follow the media that much. So, even the events of the last couple of days, I'm kind of loosely aware of it, and I get a briefing, but I actually don't want to know too much. So, I would imagine that I can't remember exactly, but I would imagine I heard about it sort of when it was made public. But again, it's like, even when I search my recollection of it, I can't even remember the timing around it. That's how far away I am from it. It's not my position to give an opinion on it. As I said, I'm one of the least informed people here, so I just think it's really poor judgment for people to have an opinion or acknowledge or refute those sort of things without all the facts. I mean, I suspect in the fullness of time, I still won't know. It's just not part of my remit. I guess if you really press me, I could go and demand that I be involved in it, but I don't want to be. It's just not the way that our football club, or I think any good football club, operates. And the AFL don't want us to operate that way either.
So Chris Scott distancing himself from the issue. There's still a lot of fallout to come, and we'll start it all tomorrow with AFL Sunday from midday with Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling. Quick votes, 3, 2 and 1, Lauren Arnell.
1 vote, Jack Ross. I thought he led the way for his side. Really impressive night with 29 disposals. 2 votes, Jordan Dawson, and 3 votes, no-brainer, Isaac Rankin.
Great work from Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamison tonight. Tom Wilson, great calling with you as always. Josh Money downstairs, Brianna Foray as well there, and Simon Rose, Tech, and back in the studio to Mitch Turner. Adelaide winners by 9 points. They're within the hunt of the top 4, but currently in 5th, just behind Brisbane on percentage. Big day of footy coming. The Giants and the Suns from 1 Eastern, West Coast and Collingwood from 4 Eastern, St Kilda and Carlton from 7, but you can hear the start of the AFLW from 4 on ABC Listen. Join us tomorrow on ABC Sport as we continue